Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Trader TV Live. Futures flat as we all await the big earnings release today after the bell. NVIDIA slated to report earnings. Lots of expectations for this one already. Analysts predicting that they're going to continue their torrid run and beat on the top and bottom line. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, make sure to check the market recap show. With that, let's keep an eye out also on crypto. Huge selling overnight drop below 60,000, trying to work its way back, still down about 3 1/4, and a lot of retail earnings this morning already. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning, Sharif. Retail earnings definitely on watch here, but we also have some more earnings after the close, not just NVIDIA. We have Affirm, we have CrowdStrike, we have Salesforce CRM, and on the economic data side, we don't have anything today, but tomorrow morning we'll be getting that quarterly GDP estimate, and then we'll get PCE on Friday. So certainly an exciting rest of the week here, starting with all of this action today.
Already getting some great volatility already from some of these retail names. We already have the likes of Abercrombie down 10.5% to start the morning. Likewise with Foot Locker down almost 8% now as the analysts digest the earnings and look over everything. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Good morning, guys.
Day has arrived, NVIDIA earnings day, but as you mentioned, it's not just them. Crowd, Salesforce, all these retail, like I wanted to say retail earnings were mixed this morning because there was like, a few names up and a few names down, but like the down names are down big and the up names are up small. So I guess it's not really that mixed. Abercrombie's down 10, Foot Locker's down 8, but like Kohl's is up, what is Kohl's up right now? 3% right now. Chewy was barely to the upside. And there was one other one that I'm forgetting that was up. Not that it matters that much. I mean, you're going to trade the ones that Nordstrom. They were up. I think last I checked it was a 4. It could be maybe a little bit more than that. So it's mostly the movers that are the downside. So A&F will probably open up close to double digits here, but it's all about NVIDIA today. The expectations are going to be sky high. There's Nordstrom's. The expectations are so high, and it's so easy on a day like today or any day. I liken this to like if in high school when you played sports, if you had like a basketball game at the end of the day and you had to go through class all day long and you're psyched up for like that big game at the end of the day or for whatever sport you might play, and you still had a full day that you had to get through. Like whether maybe you had a test or something. And you didn't want to be totally focused on the event at the end of the day. You can't do anything about it until it comes. Like nobody is, nobody's reacting to earnings ahead of time. So we want to make sure that we're focused on the moment here today. Trade, make good plans, stick to your plans, don't fight the trend, all of that stuff, and don't get too caught up in being excited for after 4 p.m. because we'll get there, and then we'll see what happens with NVIDIA. We'll be able to react to that after. So just got to stay focused today. There's so many day 2 type plays as well that are worth looking at. Continuation, that big short on Tesla. The other thing to consider is how strong Starbucks was maybe on a day 2 play. Day 3, Pinduoduo is still falling and still looking nasty. So there's some continuation plays out there as well. So if it moved yesterday, not a bad idea to have a look at it today.
Honcho Trades in the chat is saying Sean has his game face on today. Yeah. Oh yeah, we are locked and loaded right now. You're never going to hear me ever talk about KSS, but today we're ready, man. We're ready to go. Let's see about a break on Kohl's here today with over 36% or 32% short float. Let's see if this name wants to get going. Kohl's 3% and a good report. Excited for that one. What about Walmart today? Yesterday very, very range bound. Let's see if it breaks out today. Look at this. Boom, boom. 40 cents back and forth. Not going to be a great name, but what about if we take the top on Walmart? Like, why is my daily chart did not change? Every other chart changed. Oh, there it goes. Now I change it over. I just wanted to show you that Walmart is, look at this. Looky at Walmart, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 94 straight days up for Walmart. It just keeps on going right there. So, yeah, this sector is burning fire right now in the hotness, not like burning. They're
not burning
gates of hell. They're not in the gates of hell. Target trying to take out some highs as well. Anyways, lots of names to talk about, and there is a name that I can get obsessed with NVIDIA, which will be trading today, and we have some targets for that one. I wasted too much time. It wound up fine, but just wasted too much time on this name. Oh no, we have this wick. Okay. yesterday when it was just like doing oh, that wick is bad, eh? Or I have to fix that, but doing nothing in the afternoon pretty much until a final move at the end, which I can't show you, but that might be the case again here today. But a nice move off the open yesterday, so we'll see what happens here with some little chip name.
A very tiny,
a firm
small.
reports, a crowd strike.
That's bad because I forgot a firm reported.
Dara was working on.
We remembered some of them. She's working on the earnings list.
Right.
There's a lot.
Right, and she was telling me about a firm.
There's a lot.
Like, oh my God, a firm.
And actually, Upstart's been moving around a little bit too. So being a firm and Upstart, those are both possible continuation plays. Yeah, we're trying not to forget anything. I see in the chat, like, don't forget this name, don't forget that name. We saw the move that Costco had yesterday. You saw the moves that Energy had. There's something out there for everybody. And Bitcoin, oh, by the way, Bitcoin lost 60,000 and is trying to hold on to it again here. But there was some liquidations, as they like to call them, overnight as people get leveraged and when it goes down.
Oh, Fabian got liquidated. That's why it dropped.
It was Fabian?
3,000, yeah.
I thought it was my physio dude.
Fabian
Fabian
got liquidated. He switched over into Cardano, I think. That's what happened.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad, Fabian. All right, let's go back over to the desk to Sharif. Sharif's already mentioned, I don't think he's in crypto or anything, right? He's not a holder of crypto. So it wasn't Sharif that got liquidated.
No.
So, Sean, but I have a bias. I think this thing's going one way, but I have no skin in the game. All right, let's get to Chewy, guys, because they reported earnings looking good already, 1 1/3 up in the pre-market. A lot of results to talk about here at Dara. Net sales grew 2.6%. He was able, the new CEO here, was able to grow gross margins, net income, net margins. Pretty good look.
Yeah, definitely not a bad report here for Chewy, though they did miss on sales, $2.859 billion versus estimates of $2.869 billion. So slight miss there. They did beat on earnings per share, 24 cents per share versus estimates here, what I'm seeing of 2 cents per share. So pretty significant. They did slightly miss here for Q3 sales guidance, but their fiscal 2024 guidance was more or less within the range here of what analysts were looking for. Again, you will always see a couple different reports for estimates, but generally in line here for their guidance. And again, sales miss, EPS beat.
And what really stood out to me here was the cart. So how much you're actually checking out with. And now per customer, it's about $565 for the year, which is a new record for them. And they also grew their active customers, 20 million active customers. Now, not a bad look. I've never bought anything off there, and I have 2 pets. So how about you guys?
Well, I mean, I haven't either, and I have no pets.
I downloaded the app, but I didn't do anything with it.
Really?
Yeah, because it came to Canada, I don't know, a year ago or so, and I downloaded it. And I don't know.
Just never tried it.
I just popped into like social media or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'll click on it. So I got suckered in, but I never tried it. We have a PetSmart or whatever the one is here.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, they're hooked up with DoorDash, so sometimes my wife will get stuff off there.
That's what Adrian always says. Well, my roommate at university is like a huge, he's a really big cat guy. Which is weird because, you know, like you've met him. You probably wouldn't think of him as a cat dude. Like he's the kind of person that.
I mean, would you think of Obi as a cat dude? Obi's a
not
cat.
Necessarily.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
You know what? That's true. Like I don't even know what a cat person is. So like forget all of that. Chewy. See, this is the problem with the retail names. I want all of these retail short float type names to be breaking out. Like not some of them. I want all of them to go. 13% short float here. You know, this would have been nice if you could have been taken out 28. So this is sort of the thing. Like you have Chewy down here, maybe the 50 period support. Like it's right inside the previous range. Instead of nice consolidation and taking out this top and busting the 28 level, instead you're just right back essentially where we've been hanging out. It's just not that exciting. You're not near support. You're not near a breakout. And you can look at a lot of these this way. Like you sort of have to pick your poison. You know, like the reason, and we'll get to some of these later. Like the reason I kind of like Cole's a little better, despite the fact it's in the middle of the range, is you have a very distinct 20 level here that was resistance that could turn into support for a break into those highs. That way, look for a long into the break, and if it decides to go, it's got the big short float. Chewy, I think we'll just wait for the open to have it decide what to do, but you know, I just don't necessarily love that setup as much. It's not as distinct where the levels might be outside of the support and the break of the top. The good news, however, just from this last move and like sort of the momentum going into it, the good news would be the way it bounced off this 22. Like anytime you get like a clean support, liquidity grab, and then a bounce. Granted, everything liquidity grabbed on August 5th, so take that with a grain of salt. But it was holding that support like it never happened, and now you're going to hold a 50-period moving average. So this is a name which has been trending pretty nicely, and when it failed the 50-period, its first step of consolidation, it ran away from that price. So it might just take a couple of days. This could be worth watching for the days and weeks after earnings if it never breaks out of this range today or tomorrow. And then wait around for that break as long as you hold a 50 period. So you just have to be patient with Chewy. But 1%, there's a couple of other, I mean, at least 3 or 4 other names that reported that are going to be a little bit more exciting. But make sure you keep an eye on this one the next couple of days. That 28 break does look good if it gets there.
Yeah, I was just going to, I mean, Neil already mentioned it, but there's just that 12% short float. So I just feel like, you know, maybe you do break that 28 and get to go. So I think that that's definitely in the realm. I mean, Chewy only up 1.5% is nothing. We know Ryan Cohen, and there's some different stories that have been hitting Chewy, and we've seen Chewy definitely go on stories. So I think a 28 break is definitely worth having a look, but pretty choppy. It's not my favorite play, and it's not that much different than KSS or anything like that, to be honest with you. So I just think that this is here. You know, just wait for it. I think today isn't going to be a good day for patience. And if you can wait for that, then we're all good. So I think 28.50, 28. Nice little break opportunity there for Chewy, and if it gets there, go for it. I think that's well worth it. Normally you want to play back into VWAP, but you're already underneath VWAP. So, you know, if you're a short trader, then you definitely go short against this 27.25 if you don't believe in it. But I do. So I think a break of that gets to 28, then we'll see, and then we'll see if it pushes through that level and get some of the shorts a little worried. I'm not sure they'll get too worried until it breaks 30, but at the end of the day, a nice little 28 break makes sense to me. And then if you're going short, like I said, go short in and around here and use the market high of the day as your out. So 27.24 Chewy. Make sure you do hit, of course, that like and subscribe to get all of our updates. And we have a midday show coming on immediately after this for teaching and lessons, and which has been a big success. So we're excited for that one. We'll have Brendan. Oh, Brendan went to the wrong, you know, yeah, remember he was supposed to go to Jackson Hole while there was a flight problem and everything like that. So he wasn't there last week. So
he was supposed to take a left turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah, he went completely the wrong way. He wound up like in Mexico or something. I don't know where he wound up, or California or something.
You know what my favorite, I used to have this, I used to ask this question to people. It's just a way of determining, like, you know, who are your diehards, who your like diehard friends or whatnot. And I got it from the movie The Game with Michael Douglas. It's like, if you, let's just say you wake up in Mexico, nothing but the clothes on your back, and like this was back in the day, like you'd have a quarter, but like just imagine you could make a phone call, like somehow you have a cell phone, and you got to call one person, and you're just dropped off in the middle of nowhere. Who's like, and that one person to get you, be able to pick you up. It's like, do you have someone that you know you could call that would drop everything and go to another country to save you? I know who I'd call, and it's Randy.
Right, I was going to say, I mean, I would call
100%.
Randy. I mean, Randy, you want to talk about reliability.
I mean, like, he's going to have the jorts ready to go, locked and loaded.
He's going to have the oh, wow. Wow.
First of all, where'd those come from?
Pulled those out like they were like, boom.
Pulled them out from where?
His holster, that's what I'm saying. That was quick, boy. Wow,
I want to see a replay of that.
Randy.
I got to see a replay of that. I don't even know where those came from.
That was smooth.
Wow, okay.
Wow, Randy.
See, that's why you call Randy.
It's supposed to rain. You think it's going to rain today, Randy? It was kind of, no, I know, because it was saying it, and then it was
saying it's going to rain. Weather Network sucks.
Yeah.
It rained a lot last night, though.
You ever use Chewy for your dog? Where do you get your pet food from, or pet locally? 180 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clyde.
That's a big boy right there.
Yeah. Send us a picture. We'll put it on air if you have one, and we'll show everybody what that horse looks like. There he goes. He's going to go get it right now immediately and send it over. Yeah,
impressive.
beautiful. Animals are lovely. Where's the donuts? Yeah, I know. We get the bananas. We're trying to eat a little bit more healthy. Someone brought some Costco cookies there yesterday, and I was like,
that was Branko.
Yeah, oh, good. Thanks, Brankos. I just broke off a little piece of it. I like the white, the macadamia nut.
That's what I had.
That's what you had? Yeah. There was none left when I went there. So
well, I only had one.
Yeah,
actually,
I think it was the chocolate chip one. I broke off a piece of that.
That was fast. I like that. You guys already got the.
I'm just gonna have
the unholstering
now. Actually.
Boom.
Oh,
behind the back.
Let's see how impressed. I didn't see that. Oh,
It was from behind the back.
okay.
One more time.
How did you guys get that so quick? We asked for things it takes 3 months.
Flip this a year later. No, one more time.
There we go.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. I don't know.
In the moment, it was surprising because
Looked like
usually,
he just, like that.
usually if he's got something, like it'll just be front and center. So we'll also try to have some fun here. Let's get back on the desk. I don't know what we're supposed to be talking about next.
We're going to talk about Apple, Neil, because they're trying to work their way into India. In fact, they're making a deal here with Airtel to actually include Apple TV plus an Apple Music within the premium customer subscription there. Obviously, they don't have much of a footprint in India as it's kind of dominated by Netflix and Amazon, so they're trying to work their way in.
Reuters is reporting too, part of the strategy behind this also has to do with Disney Plus, with their deal with Reliance. So Disney also having a pretty strong foot here in the Indian market. It's one of the larger customer bases, so makes sense for Apple to be expanding there. We'll have to see if there's any more developments in that. We know there's some of these other companies as well, Tesla trying to expand into India, so could be an interesting look for Mag 7s in India. Also, smaller story here, Apple laying off 100 employees in their services division, but given the total amount of Apple employees, a little bit less significant there than what we have going on with India and what could be, I guess, ongoing developments.
Yeah, I just want to add that this Airtel company has 281 million subscribers. Not all of them obviously subscribe to the premium plan, but this should open up possibly doors for Apple in India, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not small. You know that everyone understands that the move into India makes a lot of sense, right? Like, regardless of what you think about China, they actually there was some good news out of China with regards to the real estate market for the first time in a little bit. So maybe that's going to be good. But with regardless of what happens there, the next wave obviously is going to be India. Apple did make the break, sort of. Remember that accumulation that was going on yesterday? Like, it kind of made that break in a small sense. And when I say a small sense, like, it got above 227 and it held the top. It just didn't break out the top. So, I mean, I'll leave these lines in here. The support lines, if the support lines come into play today, then we got stuff to worry about down in the 220, the low 220s. We never got a shot at that in yesterday's trade. But essentially, 227 change was the lower resistance, and you're now holding above that, so call it 227.5. There was no breakout of the top. So if we have an inside day, I'd want to trade inside the channel, the upper end channel for Apple. If it loses 227.5 to quarters, I think it's probably a retracement type move. Like, if you lose that, I think you can head down into 225. So I just want to look at this top of the channel and respect it. And if you break out the top, be willing to join on Apple. You can't consolidate this long without some kind of a move eventually, or accumulate this long without some kind of a move. And accumulation works in both directions. You can guess at which way it's going to go next. I think it's just more important that you have whatever comes next after a stock does this kind of sideways action. For now, it looks like it's trying to take out that top, so that 227.5 from yesterday, those kind of highs, looks like that could be the level to work off of for Apple. I'm not expecting some kind of 3, 4, 5% day on this stock. I'm expecting more of an inside type of day for Apple. So I want to respect the ranges that it's already laid out for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing. Apple's pretty flat here into a flat market. There we go. It's just slick. That was the longer form. That's what I saw.
It's
pulling it out right there. It's almost like he's here.
I know.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, look, Neil just talked about all these levels, so there's not much else to do. Apple's been really hot, honestly. And I was talking about this with Brendan before he left, and I said this on air when we were all the way down here. I said, oh my God, Apple's all the way back now to 225. And I was like, that's not that bad. Because I remember looking at him, and I said it, I think it was on air, and I was just like, oh, like, you know, the smart traders sold Apple up here at 225 because it had broke and fallen back in. I wasn't here on August 5th. This was before. This was like when it was down here at 216, 215, and it was like, oh my gosh, if it breaks this. And then, of course, we had that day. But now you're above that. And yeah, Apple continues to work despite Berkshire selling shares. I mean, it doesn't seem to have affected the stock too much. Tons of cash, tons of capital, 229.20. Remember, they have the $110 billion buyback still underneath and ongoing. So I really like the stock, and I think you wait for the break, but today it's not on my radar, just not enough movement. Yesterday, we talked about the movements in some of these stocks at the end of the day, but pretty nothing there. But you had a huge rally off the open, so I don't know, like what was up with that? So we're going to find out if we can get something else like that today as well. So I'm just going to play the momentum early, and the sticky note's almost out, just editing, and we will be getting that in a couple seconds. Headline, Apple not making the sticky note today, but definitely a stock that will be watched because of the way it's been moving.
Speaking of another Warren Buffett related stock here, Bank of America, overnight we're told that Berkshire Hathaway sold more of its Bank of America shares this time, Adara, offloading about $981 million, almost $1 billion.
Yeah, quite a significant share sale here. These sales apparently happened August 23rd, 26th, and 27th. This is again revealed here through SEC filings. Still has about 903.8 million shares in the company, valued at roughly $35.9 billion. This also comes after he sold roughly $3.8 billion worth of BAC shares over 2 weeks here, basically at the end of July. So lots of sales here in Bank of America. Also, as we know, Apple.
Down 0.5%, guys, but still up 18% on the year.
Tell us next time, Warren. It's just like if you look at the chart of BAC, so that's 40 before the breakout. This is the dump. Of course, you have the August 5th event, and then the 50 period right here at that $40 level. So those 3 days, like right in here. So those are the 3 days. Like this is it tagging the 50 period moving average and holding every single time it would break 40. So presumably they were just selling into any strength that would come into that level as it barcoded. That's a 50 period SMA. Just because here's the thing: if it gets back to that price, this is like that Bezos level when it was at the 200. If you see it get to a price like that where there's some kind of resistance anyways, like the 50 period's there, it's $40 even. I think you just maybe look short again on BAC. If it gets to 40. Now that it's already happened and you're trading away from that price, I mean, you can try for continuation, but if he's done at those levels or waiting for higher prices, there's really no juice to it unless we get a retest of that 40 level. That's what I would look for. Not breaking out that, just the same way every single day that we knew Bezos was selling Amazon and it was close to that 200, you had to at least be trying to short it. And oftentimes it wasn't just about being in it. You were waiting till it got to 200 and actually breaking 200 because that's where the selling would come in. It would come in over the price. And I think that's what was happening here. Like there was about 39.75, this local high. And like every time it would get above that, the selling would come in. Every time it gets above, the selling would come in. So I think you always want it breaking that price when you have these big program sales because they let it drift up and then sell into the strength when it seems like it's breaking out. I think that would give you something if we were to see a pop in BAC today. It's not really doing any volume.
Look, we've noted strength in the banking sector for a very, very long time on this show, including this XLF trade. XLF down here at $40 and just continues to go higher. I mean, JP Morgan is monster. We talked about the value that there was going to be in Citigroup this year because of its book to trade ratio or value ratio. As it's still underneath the 50 period moving average. I think that this is the next name to go. Morgan Stanley's been producing really well as well. Morgan Stanley, okay. There we go, off the bottom. So, really Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, the names that are trying to get through the top. JP Morgan is at the top. KRE is going to be another name. Price to book ratio is what I was looking for there. KRE, the regional banks, is something that we've had Raider Trader and some of the traders that are more ETF based looking at the different changes in the rates coming through and potentially looking at regional banks. Their regional banks are going to hold a lot of like local real estate and things like that. So some of the loans there are going to be looked at mortgage and rate interest sensitive areas. So I think the KRE is something to look at if you try to get more value other than the XLF, because the XLF is really on its own here. JP Morgan leading the way as the biggest proponent of that XLF component. And you can see this, boom, 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 boom. We already talked about this yesterday. Straight upside pressure for JP Morgan. So this could be another breakout at 220. I mean, we're there right now. Lot of trades, 855. And I mean, we still have 35 minutes until this market even opens. Market very, very flat right now. So we're probably going to have to trade some names that have either been upgraded or downgraded.
Ooh, like whom?
First name is Moderna, slightly positive after an upgrade and an $82 price target from HSBC Securities. Illumina getting upgraded here by Argus. We have Pfizer with an upgrade from BTIG Research, and Concentric getting upgraded here by BofA Securities. On the downgrade side, kicking off with a Canadian bank here, BMO, downgraded by BofA Securities. We have TransUnion being downgraded by Needham, Citigroup downgrading Gannett, this one down almost 4% here, and last but not least, Spire being downgraded by Raymond James.
You know, it's funny that Moderna would be the top of that upgrades list because it's not what you would think if you look at this chart. Like, you'd be thinking this. Oh! Sharif always loves a flat bottom break. And I wouldn't, look, I mean, sometimes when you get that upgrade or downgrade, it could just be that the bottom's falling out of the stock or everyone's afraid of the stock. They're trying to get an upgrade to get some buyers to come through. I don't know if Moderna loses $78, and I wasn't even looking at this before, I don't know if there's anything else other than this upgrade or downgrade, but if Moderna loses $78, you do have this 52-week, like these lows down in here, like 60-something and like 68, so 68 and 61, that look pretty spicy. But that's nasty if this loses 70. I don't care upgrade or not. That's obviously the level to watch for mRNA. Not a lot of volume going into it today. I mean, you're going to drop $1.50 very quickly off the open. That easily could happen. So I think that's going to be trouble if Moderna loses the bid out in here. Some things, I want to say almost everything that you look at or any chart that you look at, that August 5th bottom is come and gone and you're bouncing to the upside. Not many are trying to break that August 5th low. I would suggest that any stock which is threatening the August 5th low before this market's even turning around that much is not looking too good, and that's Moderna.
So Randy sent me this picture of Clyde, his Great Dane, and his daughter. Just, I guess, for showing you the size of this guy. He's an absolute monster. He's not here right now. When he comes back, we'll talk to him about it. But yeah, Great Dane there. 100, what did he say, 180 pounds? So wow, pretty impressive rate. My little dog's maybe 25 pounds.
180, man.
All right, so yeah, I like that play on Moderna. One name that I think is, it's not like the rest of them, but I think there's some potential here. Got to do a little bit of investigation. This is why we like the XLV as far as an ETF. But look at Merck. I mean, Merck got hit. You know, Merck is to the downside. Yeah, that's too an easy one. It didn't get Mercked lately. I mean, it was just this play.
That's
here.
Mercked.
But you know, we're starting to battle this back. So I think a 118 or so break long here for Merck is also something, and that's not too far away. We've seen. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Stocks like getting that garbage out of here. You know, you have big moves down, right? We see one in CrowdStrike battling back. You saw PanW off of a bad quarter a year ago, battle back. You know, this is going to happen to names. So sometimes when you're on the right space, I mean, Merck doesn't talk about GLPs or anything like that. They're not in that space as far as I know right now, but could be into something. You've seen BMY bottomed out as well and coming back. So I kind of like what Merck's trying to do. I know Neil brought the flat bottom break, but this could be a break long here at 118 on Merck. Again, right sector, right business, dividend. I like the stock.
Let's start by having a look at the futures here. We're already negative here on the ES, but marginally 0.05%. Yesterday, we closed below that very critical resistance level on the ES, 56.50. We haven't been able to decisively close above that level since basically coming back to it from the dump off. So we'll look to 56.50 first to take it as a resistance level and use it as support. If we don't do that, we're looking at 5,600 as support to the high side. If we do take 56.50, we're looking at 56.75. All right, guys, make sure to get the watch list every day. No morning routine is complete without a good watch list. I use it, Adara uses it, everybody on the stage here use it. So make sure to check out the watches by scanning the code on the screen when it comes up or checking the link in the description of the video, and you should be able to get that. Let's start with the first one here on the rundown. NVIDIA, widely anticipated to be, one of the biggest earnings reports of the season. Many different ideas of how this one's going to report, but we're expecting here, Adara, what it looks like to be the fourth straight quarter of beating analyst expectations. About 112% they're looking at here, a year-over-year increase, about $28.7 billion they're expected to report for Q2.
Yeah, this is interesting as well. We actually have Goldman Sachs analysts here saying on a note released on Monday night, they're expecting a market cap fluctuation of roughly $298 billion in either direction. So $300 billion market fluctuation, that implies about a 9% move in either direction. Analysts looking for $28.24 billion in revenue and earnings of 65 cents per share, though, of course, with NVIDIA, people are always going to be expecting a beat and a guidance raise, and we had lots of analyst upgrades last week to that effect.
All right, guys, Blackwell chips in focus, whether they guide higher or lower in focus, as well as other challenges with respect to sustainability of these hyperscalers continuing to add on GPUs. What's the look?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because I think it was a double digits the expected move yesterday when I checked. I saw one source at 11. I see another one that has 9.9 this morning, and then now you're getting 9%. I mean, either way, I think as we were talking to Justin Zacks at Mumu yesterday, and he said this, and I think he said it right, because I was thinking, okay, you're going to have a smaller move than expectation. That was my thought. We'll get to that when we cross that bridge in the aftermarket show, but he kind of figured if it's up, it'll be the smaller move than expected. If it's down, then it'll be bigger. And I think that makes some sense to me where the stock is at and what has happened with NVIDIA. There's no questions asked that this has been the done data of the market or whatever hyperbole you want to throw out there. It's just what this did since that August bottom, that August 5th, doomsday, whatever you're calling it. The fact that you're already back into those highs. I think there's going to be some people that are running or ready to ring the register if there's any kind of weakness. And like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if you look up top, it's kind of top heavy at that 130 to 131. Like that seems like a bit of a wall to try to get through on that before the earnings. So I'm still thinking if you're not breaking out 131, thought this yesterday, of course it never traded that level, that's the place to look for short. If we just never make any highs and trend back into the downside, then you look at aftermarket highs, you look at previous close places to try to join things. And I do not want to disrespect AMD. They've been riding the coattails. They're a very different story. I mean, if you look at NVIDIA and then look at some of the other chip names, look at AMD's daily chart, go look at Broadcom's daily chart, go look at Marvell's daily chart, just pick one and look at it, and then tell me how all these other ones, which are looking like they're in bare downward channels, Micron downward channels, and the only one that's up there is NVIDIA. That's the cautionary tale for me. So this one's been weak for a long time now on AMD. It's under the 50-period moving average, which is at $155. Yesterday, it was a 151.5 resistance, and I think right in there again. If this is breaking out 52s, don't fight it. Let it squeeze. It looks like it could go if it breaks out 52. But this chip name has been weak for a hot minute, and that 151.5 is kind of the spot. We only got that one time, and then after you had to try to join elsewhere. But I'm still thinking shorts on AMD until the stock gets more bullish. And that could happen after market if NVIDIA beats. That's entirely possible, but until then.
AMD's high 227.
It's crazy how far it is.
Well off. Come on, man. Come on, Silvera World Traveler. Give your boy a break. Come on, Sean, are you sleeping? Where's the sticky note at? Where's the sticky note at? It's out, homie. Come on, man. You know it's out right now. So here we go. Here's a sticky note. We have it today. We have NVIDIA. It's pretty simple, man. We wrote it down. 131 long break or 126 long support. I'm only trying to go long. I'm not trying to go short, and I'm not trying to play it in the middle. We spent too much time yesterday in a range waiting for something to happen. It's clearly right here. Go find some more sticky note trades. It'll be what I'm trading and what I'm looking at. So come join the party. And I might not be trading NVIDIA at all today. You know, like yesterday, I was looking at it, hoping something to happen. You guys were here with me trading it this afternoon, and nothing was happening. We had a good break. We actually called 127 there. That bounced around a little bit and got me upset as well before eventually going up to 129 and giving us that top. I think this could be a top break, 129. The reason why I wrote down 131 was just like 29 is still good, but where does that, you know, that top right there is 129.60, 129.50. I just didn't want to get caught in like everybody doing that trade. So I was like, hey, if this wants to work out, we've seen this one, I've sort of coined that meme crazy, when NVIDIA just goes meme crazy. And what I mean by that is the offers just get lifted. They get taken out, and you could just really start to see it run. And that happens without the futures. So we don't need the market to have this go. I want to see NVIDIA break its week high here. It's actually wick top to 131.20, but I don't care about 20 cents. I'm going long on a 131 break. It's pretty simple, and it might be a big position. So why not give NVIDIA $2.50 worth of room and give it that juice that it needs to get going back up to the upside. SMCI news right now, SMCI delaying their Form 10K filing. Not good, I believe. I haven't looked at the stock. I don't like to see any kind of delay coming through. There's SMCI down 7% right now. So there it goes, man. Clip it. This should be something that we clip. This is happening live right now. SMCI downside move into 500, 504. Watch out for 500 breaking right now. We can go over to the desk for this news, but there goes SMCI. See you later, SMCI breaking through 500. What is this doing to NVIDIA? Just quickly, let me have a quick look. Probably it shouldn't be doing anything, and it's not. So SMCI right now just bouncing off 500. We saw this yesterday.
All right.
This part of the show is brought to you by Moomoo. Are you looking to maximize your idle cash? Earn 8.1% on idle funds for up to 3 months. Plus, U.S. users can take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada, you're not left out. Enjoy 6% on cash balances along with a 2-month commission rebate. Sign up with Moomoo and trade global markets with just one account. Gain access to an extensive range of data on stocks, options, and ETFs, complemented by over 100 charting tools and indicators, price forecasting, weekly ratings reports, and instant alerts, all designed to elevate your trading game. For more details on the full terms and conditions, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Thanks to Moomoo for sponsoring this part of the show.
Oh, there is a lot of blood right now. There it goes, below $500. We are really coming down here on SMCI, 9.5%. This is the headline, guys. Super microcomputer to delay Form 10K filing for fiscal year 2024. The market not liking that, I guess suspecting obviously possible irregularities or whatever. And we saw the Hindenburg hit piece yesterday, which made specific accusations with respect to revenue and with respect to accounting. So we really need to keep an eye on this, trying to break below 490 here, Adair. So we will keep an eye on that. Next on the rundown, though, is crypto, another one that sold off aggressively, trying to recover here, but still below 59,000. There are multiple reasons why this sold off. We're not really sure. Some people saying large liquidations in Ethereum futures contracts. Some others saying, regular bull market correction, and even others blaming the recharging of Donald Trump as a possibility as well.
Lots of different potential causes here, different things people are pointing to. Right now, we're almost back at that 60,000 level, currently around 59.9. So we'll have to see if we can reclaim that 60,000. We know 62,000 was an area of interest for several different crypto analysts and people who look at Bitcoin as a near-term area. So that could certainly be of note. Roughly $313 million in liquidations of leveraged crypto derivatives. So the whole crypto space getting hit, Ethereum getting hit here as well. But BTC notably back below 60K.
Yeah, tough look for both SMCI, crypto guys. What's the look?
I mean, first things, obviously, SMCI news here is that's not good. I mean, at the time, it couldn't be any worse on that because the day after the Hindenburg report, that's not going to be a good look. If this stock loses 480, you're in you're in some uncharted territories. I say uncharted, but that's the beginning of the year. So if you lose that 480, it's not going to be a good one. I just can't see a way. Like yesterday, this bounced all the way back to where it started. I can't see that happening. Well, I'm not pre-market SMCI. The book is very, very thin. So looking for some kind of a short to pop and just have to be patient with it. It's going to be short sell restricted. So if it does bounce, like you're going to really have to get this on the way up, and the way down might be a little bit tricky. Key support level in the morning, right at the open, it broke out and then supported 515. So this would be like 515 in there would be a target area on any kind of a pop. I don't think that looks good whatsoever. And I came in thinking we'd look at some Mara today for Bitcoin. And sorry, I was just looking at the applied move there. But for Bitcoin, you're still teetering the 60,000. Feels like we're going to lose this 60,000. And if it does for good, I know Mara is the one that I've been watching and paying attention to. It failed an $18 level yesterday. I don't think we see that today. I think I'd rather just be joining trend. As long as you're not breaking out and going green, I want to look trend, short pops on Mara. There is a chance that you could have a bit of a breakdown through 16.8 as well. You've already, or retesting previous lows. Like yesterday's lows for breakdowns about 17 teens, and then you have this 16.8 which can break down. I'm looking to short pops. I want to make sure that we're actually losing the 60,000 level on Bitcoin. It's going to be hard not to pay close attention to SMCI, though, at the open, regardless of what your plan is. That might be the big mover today.
So we had Brian Shannon on yesterday, and it was very, very timely because he had talked about the 62 level right here as potentially being an area of support. Now we've broken through that level. So, you know, that's the 50 period moving average. We talked about that. This is just a daily here for Bitcoin. I still don't think there's trouble. I mean, this is going to be what happens. You're going to get stocks that get liquidated. You're getting this coin and Ethereum. And there's some reasons for this, as we talked about potentially, right? I think it always has to be something geopolitical that creates Bitcoin to do this, unless you do get somebody selling. And when somebody sells, that just means there's somebody else buying, and there's limited supply of Bitcoin. So I don't necessarily think that pullbacks like this are unhealthy. I think you want to have some kind of flush that comes in every once in a while. Straight to the upside is also very, very nice. But at the same time, you're still just falling into support. There's many stocks, there's many names that look like this right now. I'm not super concerned about Bitcoin. I think this obviously scares us when you go top to bottom 20,000 in a week. That's a problem when you lose, 25% in a week. But we've also seen NVIDIA gain 40% in that in 2 weeks off that bottom. So this is just what happens. I think it's going to be a supply and demand game eventually once the supply is gone. I still like Bitcoin. I think 54 is an area. I'd sort of buy this weakness, to be honest with you. I'm not putting any new money to work, but if you are a Bitcoin bull, I think you take advantage of that. And then the name to trade that has all the volume, that is easy to get in and out of, liquidity is pretty huge, is IBIT. So if you are looking at IBIT, again, it's just, this is what I mean. It's boring to me right now. It's not breaking anything. There's no levels here. I'm going to pass on trading crypto other than maybe Mara. So yeah, that's just a little look on Bitcoin. I don't think it's the sky is falling or anything.
We're going to talk about Li Auto next. Reported this morning. They reported earnings this morning. And look, it was a mixed bag. So vehicle sales increased 8.4% quarter over quarter. Revenue increase as well. But this is the one that caught my attention. Vehicle margin declined 18 to 18.7% from 21. That's really as a result of the focus by Li on the L6 model, Adair, which is their cheapest model. It's hurting margins.
Interesting, though, too, they did have an increase here for Q2 deliveries, rising by 25.5% on a year-over-year basis for Q2 to reach a total of 108.6 thousand vehicles. They're also expecting their Q3 deliveries here to rise by 38 to 47.5%. So quite the look here for Li Auto. Their guidance in terms of Q3 revenue is a bit more mixed. So they're guiding 5.4 billion to 5.8 billion versus estimates of 5.74 billion. So a little bit more mixed in line there, but very strong vehicle growth guidance and strong deliveries.
All right, Neil, you gave me some good technicals on this one yesterday. What's the look?
Yeah, I'll do my best with Li Auto here because whether it's Li Auto, Neo, XP, it doesn't matter. None of those these are not good looking charts. But there was this huge down channel that this stock has been in. Man, this SMCI just bounced off 590 a second time. This could get nasty on that stock if it loses a bit here. So Li Auto, there's your downward channel. It did break it underneath and then regain. So there's some support in here. I was excited. When I messaged Sharif in the middle of the day, or maybe it was the morning, I don't remember when it was, but I was discussing like 22 possibly breaking out when they report. That's not happening today. So you made this some kind of a rounded bottom with possibly support at the 50 period and then a potential breakout at 22. So at least it's forming some kind of a low. To look for confirmation breaking out will be the next thing. Earnings would have been a fantastic catalyst, but if your margins are getting lower and XPeng just came out with like a $16,000 vehicle, so the price wars are only going to continue because they're making them cheap, cheap, cheap. And if one's losing money, it's going to be trouble for the others. But they all look very similar. They haven't rounded off these bottoms yet. Like, they're all just hanging out down here looking for some kind of a catalyst. I'm talking about the Chinese EV names in particular. So I think that makes it really tricky. Like, why would you want to buy? Catching a falling knife it can be fun because you get the best price, but a lot of times it's just your ego wanting to get the bottom. And we've all been there before. Like, you want to be like, ooh, I got this at the bottom. I was in on the ground floor. Or you could just actually get long when there's upward momentum in one of these names. So until this breaks 22, in Li Auto's case, you guys can see that on the chart. Like, what's a better trade? Trying to catch where the low is going to be, letting it make higher lows and break out so that you could have 22 breaks, slap a stop at the 50 period, and it's got some room to run. Until that happens, I don't care how strong their deliveries are when the stock is trending down.
I didn't look at anything Chinese today, man. I mean, we talked about Alibaba. I mean, you probably just did. Down to $81 again. I really like this name. I think it just gets gobbled up in all these stories, right? I mean, Alibaba had a good earnings report. They have a big buyback underneath them as well. I have to double check the number there. This is 30 billion, or I'm not sure. I'll have to double check it. It could be even more than that. I like the name. It's still above the 50-period moving average. We know that retail has been strong, but China has their own problems, obviously. That economy is not pumping like apparently the United States is. So you got to be very, very careful. Consumer discretionary there in China apparently isn't as hot or robust as we see here in North America. And that's caused this to make a downside move. And they don't get the intervention from like their Fed or anything like that as much as the stimulus that we could sometimes expect here. Like, we're expecting those interest rate cuts and things like that. In China, it's obviously a completely different story. So just watch out to see this. I mean, an 80 break is not nice for Alibaba, but I think it's worth a dip buy opportunity if it does get nasty. The market's already starting to go down.
Yeah, we're already. SMCI.
Earnings here to start the morning. Foot Locker looked good initially, but once you really digested the earnings, it doesn't look as good. Down 7.5% right now. Look, they're swinging a loss. They're looking at closing stores in Asia and Europe. Some good things here, Dara. Some bad. Tell us about it.
I think one thing that's interesting to note, too, they did beat here for sales and for earnings per share, or just losses per share. They lost 5 cents per share versus analyst estimates of a 7 cent per share loss. However, the caveat with that loss there is their net loss is actually quite a bit larger here than they were last year. So they lost $12 million net versus $5 million net loss last year. So that's a pretty significant difference there. They reaffirmed their 2024 EPS guidance. They also here announced the closure of 31 stores, opening 5 new stores in the quarter. So closure is definitely overwhelming the amount of stores being opened there. Again, though, sales beat, EPS beat, but larger than expected net loss on a year-over-year basis.
Almost 8%, guys. What's the look?
Obi's helping me out with anchored VWAPs.
Good job, Obi.
Thanks, Obi. What's up, Obi? What's up, Obi? What do you got there? Coffee or what is that? Coffee, okay. I wanted to, yeah. I got to click it here and go there and put the anchored VWAP.
So while they were just...
yeah, it's done. We've got it figured out.
Yeah, so anchored VWAP's a great tool. Shout out to Brian Shannon for introducing that to everybody out there. Foot Locker, I guess, we talked about Abercrombie. Maybe we didn't talk about ANF, but Foot Locker, not good. I don't care what the top and the bottom looks like. It's what the market decides to do with it. And you're 7.5 to the downside with, I think, an easy channel in here. Like, it's underneath this 31. Like, that was kind of a key price. Like, look at the big move away into support, and then you get the consolidation after the fact. So anywhere into that range, 31, if it breaks 31, like 32 in there, would be a pop and fade. It's going to be hard not to be looking at SMCI, which has caused the market to come back in a little bit as well, guys. So if you see me turn my head, I'm just keeping an eye on that stock. So 31, that's that first jump off for like a pop and fade here on Foot Locker. The other one to watch is Abercrombie. And they're down a little bit more, down that 10%. I had a channel in here for, again, was looking pop and fade on this into 154. Yeah, that's not seeming as likely as when I was going through the charts. Yeah, I was looking to short in this range in Abercrombie. It's about to test the low. That was 154 to 157. That was a target area to get into a short, to short the pops. Both those retail names taking it a bit on the chin. When it comes to those mixed retail earnings, and I guess we're going to talk about a few other ones in there. I wanted to make sure we grope those in. They're mixed, but the down names are much bigger to the downside than you had the upward moves that you would have seen in Kohl's or in Chewy. So, leaning into the ones that are moving makes a little bit more sense. I was looking to short some pops in Foot Locker and A&F, but when it's at the lows, you got to wait for the pop. Market's headed lower.
I just wanted to, I figured that Bitcoin, I wanted to drop a anchored VWAP on Bitcoin itself. So I opened up TradingView because that's what I was using. I was like, where the heck's the anchored VWAP? And then Obi came running over, so I want to thank Obi for that one. And here it is, exactly what we thought, to be honest with you. I didn't really think that it was this close, but the anchor VWAP is 59,777, which is pretty much right where we're trading right now here for this. So 59,777 is what we're talking about. So that's where the anchor VWAP's at, and we're right there right now. So this is the year-to-date anchor. We've bounced off of it a little bit. Obviously, we've had its time beneath. Hasn't stayed for very long, but I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention right here. Virtually 56,000 there for the anchor, and it's just a line. All right, so the retail name that I'm looking at today, and again, it's on the sticky note. You can go find it at Trader TV, Sean, and it's KSS. We have it written down right here, 2065 long break. Great earnings report, 36% short float. But the market's taking this name the other way. Again, we write this, when we talked about it at 8:30, it was up here. Now it's down here. So the market already is starting to fade out some of these retail names. I looked at the report. I thought it was good. I thought the squeeze could be on. So now we kind of just wait. I still like it. I'll still take the break there of 2065. We sort of talked about where that was here on the daily chart. So I like that. Forget about all this garbage. I think we can take it all out. I like a 2065 break on KSS. And I think I'd like to buy the dips. Let's just see where those dips are. I don't really have too many levels. 1950 would be good. But again, that's kind of trying to catch a falling knife at that point. NVIDIA's down to 128 right now as SMCI pain continues. Is that starting to bounce? No.
NVIDIA is starting to bounce.
Yeah, and SMCI is at the bottom. So complete opposite right now. You're going to get an in the wild flat bottom break right here in a couple of seconds. 489 break below. And then we see what happens after that, because you go over to the daily on SMCI, that's it right here. So it's about to happen in front of everybody. Hindenburg now a filing 10K delayed. I mean, that's going to create some problems for SMCI, which was, of course, $1,200, now sub 5. So yeah, boy, how the errors come out of this name.
We'll conclude here with some retail earnings. Sean mentioning Kohl's. We'll talk about Nordstrom and Abercrombie. Look, it's a tale of two different stocks right now. Nordstrom's just flat at the moment, trying to hold that 21 and a fifth area. It was maintained a buy today by Bank of America Securities. Look, they did okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. They reported a 3.2% increase in revenue and a 20% increase in adjusted EBITDA. Really, it was their Nordstrom rack that really grew the actual Nordstrom store having some trouble. With respect to Abercrombie, revenue increased. The company raised its guidance for the current quarter. Same-store sales surged 18%, yet it's down about 10%. Tell us more about these two, Adair.
Abercrombie and Fitch, I'll start with because you just mentioned it. I find it very interesting as well that CEO Fran Horowitz started by basically saying we're going to be raising our guidance, but there is an increasingly uncertain environment to be aware of. So bit of a contradictory statement there and sentiment there for ANF. Though as Sharif said, they did raise their guidance here for both growth and operating margin for fiscal 2024. In terms of Nordstrom, Again, I do want to emphasize what Sharif had to say there with regards to Nordstrom Rack. Nordstrom Rack net sales increasing by 8.8% and their comparable sales increasing by 4.1%. Nordstrom digital sales also up by 6.2%. So not at all a bad report for JWM. ANF definitely, I think, getting hurt a little bit by some of those CEO sentiments with regards to the uncertain environment.
Lots of retail earnings, boys. What's the look?
Lots there. At least Nordstrom's makes it easy for you when you look at the daily chart. So if you can't figure out where the buyers have been in Nordstrom's, it's at 21. So like if it holds 21, it's got a chance to retest what has been all kinds of resistance at 23 into 24. But it's very, very slightly up. There's none of these names that look incredibly strong. So when you look at that 21 level, it's right here, right now, essentially. It was trying to break out. I thought this was going to be, when we sat down this morning, or at least when I was on the way in this morning, I thought this was going to be the one, like holding out above, decent short flow, and you could be going. Instead, your best bet is maybe the 21 level holds. I'm kind of like it was Kohl's that I liked off the 20, like could it just hold on to this 20 level? It did just dip underneath, and now it's trying to reclaim. And this is just 3 days of resistance at 20 on Kohl's. And now I want to look for it to bounce off that level into a potential break. We mentioned Abercrombie, and I'm looking for a short pop, but it's just continuously taking out the low of the day. So a lot of times when this happens and you're trending down at the open, you just got to look to where the trend allows you in. At this point, the target area seems way out of range, so it might just be look for it at getting into VWAP. Down 11%, it's going to open up short sell restricted. So if there is some kind of a bounce into VWAP, I guess that's what I'll have to look and wait for ANF specifically as it continues to fall. Fresh lows, 11% down now.
Yeah, good name there, ANF. I mean, again, what goes up must come down. That one is going parabolic for a minute. We have Walmart on here. Retail's been really hot. I love that stock. We looked at the chart, how great it's been. 76 support, 76.50 break. So it's right there. We also have KSS on our mind, which we've already talked about. So we'll just go over to Walmart. I have that bid in there to go long on that break. So if we do somehow break this 76.50, which we just bounced off yesterday, I want to go long on that breakout. I'm not sitting at 76 flat to bid it, but that could be a trade that comes in, right? I mean, it's just a matter of waiting for it. I don't want to bid 76 here, even 100 shares or something. I don't know where it's going to stop if it does go down. I mean, if I put a bid there at 75.75, I feel a little bit better about things. But still, the 50 period on the 20-minute chart is right here. It's being supported. It's a nice move to the upside. So I would say that, you know, if you do get long, I mean, I could put a bid down here maybe. It's just now ANF's down. We've seen some of these names starting to go down. KSS is down. We looked at everything. Everything's starting to fade just a little bit. The other big retail name, of course, Amazon. If we can't talk about retail earnings, they didn't report anything, but Amazon still holding out okay, but the trend here is also down. We all panic when we see Bitcoin down and this and that. Amazon's also been hit off this 180. I mean, it's a nice move right back into the 200 period. We say we like to buy stocks that are at the 200. Well, it's at the 200 right now. We all fear that we've seen what can happen when there's no bid, right? And so that's part of the problem with sitting here and trying to buy some of these retail names. But this isn't horrible, 172. I mean, you're coming into an area now for possible support. That's 172 right there. We saw that as a bottom yesterday. So, yeah, JP Morgan, did I just see that one moving around or is that just no? Oh, yeah, okay, so ticking down. So we will get the imbalance is playing a part every single morning. NVIDIA there with a buy. So that's, we can zoom in just a little bit here. So there's NVIDIA with a buy on it today to start off with. I mean, PDD, I don't know, that's under 100. Still not too interested in that one. Palantir, we shorted yesterday. Palantir short yesterday was. Ooh, that was 31 on the short for yesterday for that. And then another name that we wanted to look at that's also on the sticky note today. I just saw it on here. I don't see it anymore, but there was some Tesla shares that I just saw that I'm now not seeing. So they must have got paired off. All right, it's Stochastic Mania on the midday. Let's go find out about it.
And yeah, we're going to stick with the theme this week of using or learning about these momentum oscillators. Today, we'll talk about the stochastic oscillator and compare it to the money flow index that we learned about yesterday, guys.
So Tesla did just rip all the way into this 210 level again. And there's a few people that have been coming in possibly a little bit late, asking what's going on with SMCI. So they delayed their Form 10K filing. That's it. So they're essentially going to file the report delayed a day after the Hindenburg short seller report was listing off several improprieties, because that's what they do. Not the best timing in the world. Obviously, this is going to weigh on the stock. It's only down 10%, and when you consider how much this has been up since the beginning of the year, it's under a lot of pressure. This is different from yesterday. I don't think it can get back up to the highs. And if it does, hopefully I've tried at least some kind of a short. VWAP sits at 500. I was looking at the 515 area, like this spot here, to look for a pop and fade in SMCI. But I think you got to play it by ear. I'm still looking at AMD for a pop and fade notion off the open. NVIDIA actually coming back down a little bit here. That was actually bouncing earlier, holding on to 128, but it is Tesla that made the move, and there was no imbalance, as Sean was showing you guys. It just kind of went on its own there for Tesla.
There might have been a quick one.
I had it up the whole time. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Like if it was there, I didn't see it. But somebody's buying that stock while they're selling a lot of retail and selling a whole lot of SMCI to the downside here, holding on to 485. Let's ring it in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go, Adara.
All right, we may get into KSS here before we even thought about this. So KSS does rally right back to the upside. We are waiting for 20. I have the order in, so if it hits, it fills. Breaking through that 20.65, a nice straight up move there for Coles. We talked about that being underneath 20. There it goes, upside for KSS. Not open yet, though. The market is not open. It's very dangerous to put out trades when the market's not open.
Oh, my goodness. Where'd the bid
We'll
go?
wait to see what happens here with KSS. Where'd the bid go where?
Yeah, they just dropped the bid on SMCI. I say okay, so it just dropped the bid about $4 and it just bounced off 480. So this might try to make a bit of a rally. It did so at the open yesterday. I don't know if it's got the juice in it today. It's still continuing to look weak. AMD's trying to creep up. I didn't want to pop and fade this. The level would have been 151.5. Whether or not I can get that is up in the air at this point. And Coles is starting to hold. Is that even open yet? I still don't see an opening print on Coles.
Yeah, it's open. It's open.
Okay, so I was looking at the 200 level.
Like a minute or so ago.
Sorry, the $20 level, I should say, 200. What am I talking about? The $20 level has now been broken out. Maybe you can hang on to VWAP to head to that upside. SMCI will let that one calm down. And then Abercrombie was no bounce there. Still fading on this name. Not looking very strong whatsoever. Just got to be patient in here as the market bouncing pretty nicely. It's Tesla going. It's definitely some Coles going. We'll see if we can pick that one up. Still looking for a dip back into 20 even.
All right. So KSS is still right there. We're waiting for it. NVIDIA I'm not in anything yet. We're being pretty patient with what we're looking for here. As the market does take out some highs, don't forget to like and subscribe right now. NVIDIA. I have a firm up there. NVIDIA right now near its lows or at its lows. It just wicked down to 127 and change. We wrote down 126 or bust. So we're going to sit there and try to respect that level as well. So that's something. Tesla was another one of the movers that we were looking at. Wow, up to 211.
This is a bloodbath.
Tesla going upside. Yeah, SMCI is still down 13.5% as Neil's looking at that. What is it, 480 or what?
470.
Yeah, well, we talked about that break. That break was nasty right there. SMCI.
It's short sell restricted, everybody. It's like you can't hit the bid without an uptick. So it's obviously going to be very tricky to get into this unless it's coming into the upside. But we're really tanking here. Hey, what the heck is Dell doing on all of this? See, Dell might end up being a little bit relatively strong here on all this mess with SMCI. Just going to pivot to something, see if there isn't a trade on Dell. Maybe if it breaks out 112 or gives you 109. Nothing's really filling or getting to the levels that I wanted, so no 20 on Coles. We're not nearly where we want AMD for a short, although it's underneath VWAP. And with SMCI tanking, I do want to take my first crack at this. So let's see if I can play off the 150 level in here. Wow, SMCI, there's nobody making a market on the bid. Let's be honest with you. The algos are taking the day off of there.
They're putting
they're selling.
The other way right now. Okay,
exactly.
We've got our first position on board right now. I'm just joining the selling club right now. Why not? We're short the TQQs. We're short the NASDAQ right now. I want to give it to the highs. We break through here. We've seen this high yesterday. Let's just try it. I mean, I think that if the market falls, we had a short bias yesterday, and it turned out to be correct for many names. We talked about what Tesla did yesterday. I'm going to give this to like this 69.25 or so area. If we're wrong, we're wrong. I mean, it's good to be wrong early so you can sort of regroup everything. We're sitting here. I mean, oh, it just popped up a little bit. Let me take a little bit more into here. I'm really waiting for like the 69.15, like sort of that top area to come into play. Hey, if the market wants to go, it wants to go. I mean, we are completely down with that right now. So let's just wait. We have our trade plan. It's sitting in there. It's ready to rock and roll. Our KSS, we put a bid in there to break that 2060. That did not happen. 2065. It actually gets to 2057 right there on KSS. So we're not in that. I see you're in it. It's at that 20 level. I mean, that's going to be a spot.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, let's see if it holds on to the pre-market lows here, 1970. So let's just get a stop underneath there. Very quickly going to go back over to two things. One, oh goodness, Tesla. That was fast. Yeah, that was fast on Tesla. So Tesla got all the way to $212. Yeah, you're back underneath 210 and already starting to head back. And that's after the market is bouncing. So you're definitely heading into the downside here. Where did my AMD short go? Let me just go back
30
over that
handles.
One. Oh, it's right back underneath 150. Ooh, mistimed that one for short. So got to be short AMD every time, Neil. Every single time got to be shorted. 460.
Oh, man, there it goes, man. There's the short of the day right there for you. It's the TQs, man. We say we have one position. There it goes right now. So this is a short at 19,650. There it is, man. It's 32 handles now in the money on this TQQ short as it just continues to go, man. Shout out to everybody that tells me, hey, still just keep trading futures, my guy. So that's what we're doing right now. It is futures kind of time right here at Trader TV Live. And there it goes. Nice downside move right there on that one. So good trading so far. We'll go just in this trade. We'll relax. We'll watch it. The market's not doing anything right now, just retracing back down. You did have that little bit of a dip. That's why you get out when you get out, right? It's a nice dip down into that level. We'll wait. Pre-market low here, 68.60. So far, so good right there. We did look at, I know you're in KSS. We did look at Walmart. It didn't do anything right now. So we'll have to wait to see if Walmart wants to break higher right there. But for right now, there it goes, Sharif and Neil. It's a big one. It's a doozy. We might have done it again already right here. So this is, someone said we came with our work face on. Yeah, this is just resting work face. 68.70 right there, Neil. Great little short there on the futures.
Yeah, great little short. I keystroked on AMD there. Coles came in first. I put the stop at the wrong place on AMD. It dropped the dollar without me. Short the first pop. I'm going to short the next pop. I'm also on the offer now of SMCI. It just did this dipsy do at 470, but there's a bounce off 450 happening. If it bounces back into 470, I'm going to look to short that pop. If it straight breaks 450, I'll see if I can get in. It's short sell restricted, so there is the break. There is the absolute lack of fill. And again, remember, it's short sell restricted. So it's not as if you're just automatically going to get picked up on the way down. So no fill on a 450 break. It went right to 447. So obviously you only cross like a buck or something like that. You're not getting any fills to the downside. Coles did lose a bit and then completely regained it at that 20 level. So it wicked the bottom, came right back, regained 20. If I like the long off the 20 level, I'm going to get back in the long off the 20 level. 50 is a local high. We'll see if we can get anything there. You're still bleeding on SMCI, but if the breakdown is not going to work, then we have to wait for some kind of an upward move in this stock to try and grab the short. Still, like I said, still bleeding to this downside. Nothing has changed with SMCI and dragging a lot of things with it. NVIDIA, though, holding the lows. You can't get short.
So we just got 45 handles right there on the TQQ, shorting the top of the day into the bottom. We just got that fill right there at 54s. So yeah, this is what we do. It's a good trade. It's going to be a 1-for-1 here on the NASDAQ, and we're going to look for some more trades. But right now, that's the one that's obviously set up for me. So it's the TQQs. It's the short right there for us here today, and it's going to be a big one, needless to say. So we'll just look at what else we're looking at here today. We're looking at Tesla. Wow, we wrote down the short on Tesla for sure. We wrote down 214. We'll miss that by $1.50 or $2 there. But we did that yesterday, and we could have done it again today. We should probably have had this short. It comes right into that level there. If we were a little more specific or a little bit more, I guess, confident in what Tesla was doing, we could have been on that name. We were shorting the NASDAQ, which has been I mean, you can see the damage has been put up here. There it goes to the downside. Bye-bye, Tesla. At least we had the right idea there, but just not the right trade. Well, we don't have any trade on it. Walmart, Tesla, let's just check out. I know Neil has already looked at KSS. Okay, so KSS, nice move, man. Down in there into the pre-market lows. Those are great levels to buy. 1960, 1970, KSS blasting right back there up to the upside. So we don't have that long, but I think if it still breaks that 2065, I like it. What's Walmart doing right now? I mean, the futures are tanking. We have a very, very good trade here on the futures. This is your first almost, well, right now it's 60 handles. We'll see if we can get a little bit more. It's at that bottom again, so let's put some more bids out. We have like a very significant amount of shares still on this trade, so we've done much better. Thank you, Sharif. We've done much better holding on today. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, now only one long is working, and it's obviously going to be Coles here, but I'm looking to get short every single pop and every break. I've been throwing orders on KSS, and I was talking to Sharif when I said, dude, you can't get short. And it's just myself, because this stock is absolutely flying to the downside. So we got back into Coles off the 20 level. It got into the 50s the first time. It got to the 40s the second time. I'm going to look to reload at 20s and 20s alone, essentially. AMD is now absolutely cratering with everything else. It is what it is. SMCI just let me in off the 445 on the way back in. On this name, I'm giving it into 440. Where is that level? It was 449 change. So it's every $5 on that stock. Let me go on over to SMCI. If it's going to make a bounce here, I'm giving it to that local high. The local bottom is $440. So I look 441 at the bottom here. And if it breaks 449, half, it looks like it could be absolutely flying into the upside. So we'll see if we can get this one to go back in. Coles is only a long. SMCI, we'll play this one short in front of that 50. Right, there's a bounce. Could be an SSR bounce on SMCI.
Yeah, monster move there on SMCI. Yeah, wow, okay. Right back in through 450 again, SMCI. All right, we took some profits there, obviously. Let's go. Right now, guys, you guys can clearly see what's going on here. The market is a little bouncy right here, so let's make sure that we do take some more out right here again for for TQQs. It's the only trade that we are in right now. Because of that Tesla move, we want to trade names that are moving, remember? Tesla definitely one of those. Up and down now, $4 on Tesla. Good move. Let's go over back to, hey, thank you so much, Coffee Trader. You know, we talk about our own trades here, and I hope it doesn't sound, too whatever. I'm trying to be as humble as possible and show you guys that these trades are getting put on. So I do want to thank you, Coffee Trader, for acknowledging it, man. That's a lot of respect to you there. I hope you have a very, very good day yourself. And so far, we are doing it here one more time on Trader TV Live. Kill him, Sharif.
Chewy, Sean, big move up here, was up 10% at the highs. Just wanted to let you know it's an earnings winner, and it has a 12% short float really going here.
We like Chewy. We didn't think it was strong enough to be a one that was going to go. I thought Coles would be the bigger one.
Where is it?
Yeah, I mean, Chewy was a 28 break. It's not at the 28
Yes,
level.
it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Should be long.
Did not think it was going to get there. At the time, Chewy literally wasn't moving. Going to get over to that now. I didn't set an alert for this stock at that price. Always should set an alert. It's still giving you a play off the 28. I don't want to chase it too far. But if you can get quarters maybe back into the 8, this should have been a breakout at $28. This is the reason why. There you go. Chewy, short float, and all that good stuff. We'll try to give it back in a bit, but my eyeballs are going to be peeled still on SMCI. I think it's going to be worth multiple cracks in here today on SMCI. The way it's moving around, if this is an SSR bounce, wait for VWAP. So I was trying every single break on the way down and got no fills. The first fill I got was back up through the 440. Looks like it's making a curl here at 457 or so. It's still heading into the downside as we speak. Coles is possibly getting a refill at 20 even. I got 11s the first time. We got 5s the second time. But we'll get into Chewy. Didn't think it was going to break, but now that it has, want to make sure that we're taking advantage. If it's just going to be retail that's strong or a squeeze name that's strong, then you got to be willing to play those. You never know what's going to actually be bullish in this market. Certainly it's not the chips after what we saw with SMCI.
Okay, yeah, we're in that Chewy name as well. I mean, I was, when we were like, it's not at 28, and I looked over to it, and it was at 28, so we got that long. We did like this long there through $28. So we'll try it and see how far can we go right now. And I know that we were just, Neil was just mentioning SMCI. What a move off that bottom. And that's the problem, is that, like Neil said, you never get filled until you do. And then you have to deal with it, right? And so, like, right now, you could sit here at 457 and wait for something. But this name, I mean, down 17%. I feel like there could even be more than that to come. Oh, no. Money, 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 money. It's a 2-for-2 kind of day. It's another chicken dinner winner right now. We had pork tenderloin for dinner yesterday. It was very, very tasty. My son's like, damn, Dad, this is good. I was like, all right, I'll take that right now. So there it goes, man. Just hit that barbecue. Nice move up there for Chewy. We get out of half right there, sitting at 60s. Good trade there for Chewy. And look, our drop down is going to be similar to that. So we'll just take 30 cents. Here it comes into 28 again. We'll try the reload and give it, you know, a little bit of a break into that level. What is that, 27.80, 27.85? So let's wait to see what happens with Chewy. Good profit spot right there. Let's go. We got another one right here coming through. Let's see how low can these futures go now. I feel very, very confident in trading these days. I think you guys can see that. There it goes right down there to the downside is the NASDAQ. And it's, again, good day, big day, huge day, starting with basically one trade. The Chewy trade helps for sure. It's right back in there right now, but it's the futures that are making them dance here, Neil. Nice downside move here for the NASDAQ, and it gets lower and lower and lower as we go. So it's a big day, and congratulations to everybody that's riding this wave here.
Yeah, the wave is definitely to that downside. You're getting another wave of buying coming into SMCI here, and it's no longer really following the market that much because the market's still going down. So a higher low wave of buying's happening. If it breaks here, looking for the curl at VWAP. It's got to be in here, or we look for just another failure at 455. It's broken this false break twice, 3 times technically, but twice that I was watching. If it does it a third time, I'd look for something underneath with a local stop there. That'd be a tighter stop because it's the false break. Chewy is starting to come back in. I don't care how strong you are. If the market goes down forever, a lot of names are going to find some weakness in them eventually. So Chewy pulls back. I just tried to grab 28s, sitting on the bid at 6. No fill. It looks like it got to 7. There we go. Now we're going to get filled. Give it to the local breakout high. That was right in here. So that's where we calmed down, pulled into VWAP. You're going to have a trend starting to form. If it loses that trend, I want to jump out of Chewy. Coles is still making its best effort to go, but it just got to the 2022 and can't seem to break those highs. My eyes are going to continuously be on SMCI as long as I'm not getting AMD, because as fast as this one is moving, you got to try to get your entries pretty tight. So what I want to do here is, if it breaks this top, fails at 55 again, throw stop at the wick high, try to get short back through $455. If we're able to catch it, fair enough. But the 3 times I tried to get short on the way down, like I said, 0 for 3 getting a fill, you only get it on that way back into the upside. That's how it's going to trade today.
What kind of a day are we even having again on the show? And I mean, I just put in this for you, Jose, and was blow that cow going through here. I mean, I see it all the time. I see on the chat, you know, this can't be real. I mean, the thing is like, I'm telling you, I'm putting these trades on in front of you. Like, there's the 28 long, it's at 28.40. We built this TQQ position together there. We had 3 fills. All we were doing was talking about this. So these are all positions, man, that are actually happening. Neil. I mean, okay.
Whoever said 28 was a good idea.
Yes, man. Not just that. Forget about Chewy's whatever. Chewy's small peanuts, man. I mean, it's a great trade. It's a great trade. But if you guys want to talk about nets and P&Ls and everything like that, Chewy rate, I mean, TQQ right now is, for me, 10, 11, 12 times, maybe more than that actually, the P&L. Look at this move on the futures. I mean, Neil, we are 1960. This is over 100 handles right now, roughly, in the money on this trade. We're bringing the pain for these viewers every single day. And I just hope that you guys definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe, and, you know, just look at, we're trading here live for you guys. And, you know, I don't know another show that does this. Not this way. Here we go. It's a nice move. Let's go, Chewy, man. Now 70 cents in the money and trying to get higher. This is a day. This is another day that ends in Y.
Love both Aaron Chewy. Next one here, Polestar. Their CEO, Michael Loschler, out, a new CEO in. This company reports tomorrow morning, already down 7% on the news.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it was Polestar, but I don't think today that's going to be the stock that anybody is looking at. Don't get me wrong. But the market continues to make lows. Like I said, Chewy's going higher. Kohl's is going higher. I do want to still respect Tesla. It doesn't look like it's getting anywhere close to those highs. If it doesn't ever break VWAP, we'll try to join this one. We liked the short on the pop, but like that was a violent move right off the open. It didn't calm down till it got to 12. And then even by then, it was just completely gone to the downside. That bid just evaporated. And it was the same thing that happened over in AMD. Now AMD can't seem to get above VWAP. I'm looking at this over NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA is not all that crazy yet today. We expect things to heat up, but that's a big capitulation candle at the bottom. Usually when I see something like that, it's not jump right into the short. Look for some kind of confirmation there. NVIDIA now is actually starting to lose a bit. So we're going to look for VWAP. Now that things have calmed down on advanced micro devices. All right, another break, another try. Let's see if we actually get a fill. Fresh lows again on SMCI.
All right. You know, this has just been, I mean, here's the TQQs. Oh, by the way, there it is. It's your Dollar Club winner to start right here. I mean, we're gonna have more of this. We're just getting started right now. But there it is, a nice downside move into $68 there. And then we have Chewy, of course, the play that just keeps on barking right now. There's Chewy up 12%. And again, you know, the name that we talked about in the pre-market, make sure you are here every single day with us as we discuss all of these trades, man. I mean, this one was not only a break of 28, it gave you that dip buy into 28 as well. So put these on the board, man, and, you know, hopefully another big day brewing here in the market. I'm going to take a bid at 68.03. There it is right there. So put an official Dollar Club right there on its name. So the TQs, good trade here, obviously, to start the day. We're going to go 2 for 2 and just basically rest on our laurels right now. We are going to look for some more. We did write down NVIDIA 126 was a level that we liked. It just bounced off 126.40. We were actually at 126 flat. I canceled that trade. I think there's more pain coming here. So let's go. And there it goes, man. There's the TQs breaking again. Now it's 110 handles now in the money on this trade. So, hey, man, it's been a good day. Let's just hold out and see what happens. We wrote down TQQ 67 on here. Is it coming through? Potentially it is. It's a big one. It's the NASDAQ, and we go to the downside, and we've really changed up our game, and I know that you guys can see that. It's been a great little run over the last couple months here, and we'll just keep on doing that. Nice breakdown lower here on the futures. We like trading the futures.
Yeah, I just got out. 29's just hit on Chewy and pulled back. So that's going to be my target there. 28 to 29. It tagged, 28.96. So it tagged essentially that $29 level. KSS also, very quickly for everybody here, I can tell you Kohl's just got right into, it was about 2060, this pre-market high, and then did a little bit of a fail break. I got out of it there as well. And then for the fourth time today, there was another breakdown on SMCI. Every time it breaks, I put an order in. But on the way back up, after sort of observing what happened last time, like allow it to make some kind of defined top. Maybe it'll be 440 this time. But if it does that for a couple of ticks, look to roll over into something in SMCI. Still only looking short in this NAM. I did try each of these breaks off of the open. No fills, 465, no fill, 480, no fill. We'll see if we get one on the way back, but just a little bit more patient with it. I think this is a kind of trade, like the first break was like a $15 move to the downside. Actually, a little bit more than that. It was more like $25 to the downside. I don't think you're going to get that on any successive moves. It's starting to calm down a little bit, and we're still looking for some AMD. Adara, what do you have for us?
This show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
KSS, baby. It's a good one. There's our NVIDIA, Phil. We do get this one. So KSS broke that top. We're in it. NVIDIA right now, guys, we're long at 126.15. I don't know, man. If this loses 126, I don't need to be too in love with this trade. You guys have heard me say that, hey, we like it. But oh no, it's coming back up to the upside. Hey, let's just do it right now. Let's take out some more trades on NVIDIA. Oh no, we did it one more time. That's the props there. 126. Who would have wrote that down? It's a nice 40-cent winner, but we got to wait to see if it goes down. And actually, sorry, we're long at 15s. It's 30 cents. Let's see if it gets a little bit higher right there into 45s, 46s. Here it comes down. It breaks lower. We gone on that one. And again, another name that we have, all we've done so far today is trade off the sticky note here. I mean, we had the TQQ short. We have the KSS long. We have Tesla. We didn't trade Tesla yet. We have that one. And then, of course, Chewy was a big one that we had discussed. But here goes KSS. Let's get going to the upside, baby. I'm going to take some more fills if we can. Let's just let it float. We're out of 30% already. Let's take a 78 if we can. Bang that one. Get back to the upside. Here we go, man. This is a monster for us. Neil, we're doing it again now on NVIDIA. This is props it up, guy. There it goes. It's a nice move there for NVIDIA. Off the 126. It's 50 cents. Again, there it is. How much more do we have to prove to you that me and this guy over here know what we're doing? We're putting this up for you every single day. It's Trader TV Live. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and clip it.
Let's go. Clip it for sure. Get that one out there. I love that move to the downside. There's only one stock, well, two stocks that are going up right now that I'm watching. I got out in front of 29 on Chewy very quickly. It just had a buyer here at 28.30, kind of stacked it up a little bit. It's not a huge amount of shares, but it was enough. Looking like it's making a turn, so I jumped back in. I got 45s. I should have had something tighter to the 40 level, but as long as it holds the trend, and I'm showing you this, like this trend, it's a steep trend. As long as it holds that trend line, let me hit save so it's there the next time. As long as we hold that trend line, a retest of the 29, I think can be in play. So if it's gonna hold the trend, let's have this one going up. I mean, the market is headed down. SMCI, like I said, it's just, yeah, there isn't a heck of a lot of bid. There was no push to try that 440. I mean, every time there's been an even dollar break, it's starting to get to the point that I'm punching the low. At this time, I'm not going to like whatsoever. So I'm not going to sit there chasing that stock till the hills come. But VWAP's starting to come in here on AMD. We were sitting there before. Obviously, when the market goes down and the stock goes down, VWAP goes down with it. So it's a bit of a moving target. Let it press back into 149 here. See where it tries to wick the top and look for the reversion short. This is a local high at 149 and a half. So I'm looking for that. Be patient with it. Chewy's a reload or a re-entry. To be sure, we'll see if that one's going to start to hold up there off of this 28.30, holding that trend line. I'm sitting here at about 70 to get some out, and if it breaks 29, we'll hold through the break of the high of the day. Still looking like it's crashing in SMCI for everyone tracking it, but the rest of the chips are trying to make a bounce without it.
All right. It's just one of those days again. We just talked about it, man. NVIDIA just went up almost 80, 90 cents in the money, trying to break through 127 right now off of 126. I mean, everybody, if you guys have Twitter or you have Instagram, I mean, the sticky note is an opportunity right now to get all the ideas that you may want. 126 long, NVIDIA. Neil, it's $1 in the money off this level. KSS, 2065 long break. KSS, huge move to the upside right here, right now. KSS, 2065 long break. We have the trade. We took it live for you. And there it is, Neil, breaking through $21 right now as we go. So, I mean, this is just, you're going to think it's not real, but TQ's monster trade today, huge move down in. We can even start to cover some of this again, just because this is the kind of day that we're having. Let me just punch them out at 10s, doesn't even matter. Take some more out right there as it goes. It still matters. But look at KSS, still going, right? These are the trades that have worked out. NVIDIA right there. We mentioned this, 126 long. So there it is right now. We get 126.15. Let's see about a 127 break. Can we get this break of 127? If not, let's put an offer right here at 97. One more try to the upside there. Hopefully we can get that out. We only have 40% left of this trade. So yeah, right now it does look like it wants to fade off of that 127. There it is. We'll take an 85 or a 80 something out there. 85 out. We'll take an 85 out right there and put another one on the board. Coffee Trader, I do want to thank you.
Good job, Coffee Trader.
Yeah, exactly. So much, Coffee Trader, for your talks. You might be the best in the game. Well, the thing is, we know that we have the best viewers in the game. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Neil, for all that as well. We definitely appreciate all the love here. Thanks, Coffee Trader. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Sharif. Hit the like and subscribe.
Yes, sir, and that's what it's all about, everybody. So always have to have a plan of action. Chewy, still in the upward trend, but if I'm getting it on the trend line, if the reason to be in is this trend bounce, then I'm going to get out when it loses it, and then wait for VWAP. So VWAP has already held a couple times. I still like the long. It's up 9%. I got no issues with the long in Chewy, but just going to hunt for another re-entry point. I'm not to the point that I think it's a reversion trade. So NVIDIA, AMD just tagged VWAP, got up to 149.11 or 12, and then curled back underneath 49s. So we're shorted, looking into the low of the day there. SMCI just continues. It's at 420 now. So breaks on this. Yeah, now the breaks are starting to work. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to break the low of the day. Every time it tries to make a consolidation, what I'm essentially doing is I throw a stop in here and look to grab it on the way back in. So try to grab 434s. If we indeed do bounce off the 420 level next, then I want to look for some kind of a pop. You're starting to get to these points where it might just bounce and hold, but you're still a long ways away from where if people are looking at this chart for a target line, it's probably $360. The day after a short seller report, for these guys to say what they said, 23% doesn't even seem like that much to me. If it gets underneath $400, I think that gets to the point where you look for that SSR bounce play. But they're still in the pocket that you might look for a little bit of a reversion to the upside and still try to fade. So we eventually got back into AMD. That was the first thing I wanted to short like yesterday, but misplaced the stop order, and then that's going to happen. Just get right back on the horse and get back into the name. But SMCI, still going to look for it. It's the biggest opportunity, at least for now. Yeah, and BTC lost that 60,000. Again, Mara now underneath VWAP. I like Mara short 18. It never got to 18. But I said if we lose 60,000, look trend short on Mara. So that could be VWAP like we're doing with AMD. That could be a flat bottom break. 17.13 was yesterday's lows, and that's the current low of the day as well. So on my note, I was like, I'm willing to take a break of yesterday's low. We'll go ahead and do that. Adara. What's happening now?
What up, Adara?
Quite a lot today, of course, is happening right now. One of the biggest things, though, of the day is actually going to be happening after the close around 4:20 p.m., and that's going to be the release of NVIDIA earnings. NVIDIA here is expected to have a move of about 9%, which could be a fluctuation of roughly $300 billion in market cap. So NVIDIA definitely on watch. S&P 500 still chopping here around these highs near that 560 level as of right now. Lots of earnings, though, before those NVIDIA, CrowdStrike, and CRM earnings after the close. Lots of other things on watch here. We have SMCI here pushing into new low of days for Supermicro, down 23%. We had a short report yesterday from Hindenburg resulting in a sell-off. Now we have SMCI delaying their filing here for their annual report ending in June 30th, citing the need to assess internal controls. So SMCI strongly to the downside. Abercrombie and Fitch down more than 15% here. They beat for earnings per share and for sales, but their CEO did mention an uncertain economic outlook here. This one trying to make a bit of a higher low, but still down quite significantly. Last but not least, here we have Li Auto, LI, initially trading slightly higher here, but now down almost 10%. They did beat for EPS, but they missed on sales. Bit of mixed here Q3 revenue guidance. So interesting look here for a lot of these earning names as we head into the real earnings star of the season tonight, guys.
Yeah, we'll see if it shines bright or not. We just tried to get out of some KSS because the KSS trade is one of them right there today. I offered on TQQ by accident instead of KSS, so we added to our TQQ short right there. So our price does change over that. But that's all good because we went over to KSS and hit it again and got that short right there. So yeah, man, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4. I want to say to Piper, I mean, there's going to be, this is just another day, right? I mean, every day there's going to be traders green, red. We talked about it yesterday. Today there's just 3 green traders. Yesterday we had a great ratio. Today we do as well. There's just not as many traders back there today as well. So just remember, it's a tough game, and not all the trades are always going to be there for you. And when they are there, though, the only thing that I've learned a lot, I think. Anyways, I'm going to cancel this Walmart trade right now, actually, on that break right now. It's just that if you follow your plan and you know the plan's been working, then I think you got to be patient and wait for those things, right? I mean, we were very, very specific on what we wanted to do with NVIDIA today. The thing is, like, when we're giving these trade ideas, and you can see Neil and I's positions flash through, and you can ask us, again, green, red, purple, whatever you want on any of these names. These are ideas that we've looked at, we've studied, and that we're taking. So we'll justify them for you. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But this is why today I wrote down very specifically on NVIDIA what our plan of action was. 131 break or 126 support. Spending too much time waiting in this range for something to happen. So we did exactly what we wanted to do. We sat down there and we actually talked about it, right? We had canceled our earlier one that was here and waited down near 126, closer to 126. Because if it broke 126, we wanted to get out. So right here, this is a 5-to-1 winner. Right now, more than that. Look what NVIDIA is doing right now, guys. I mean, this is what we're putting on. We know we don't want to be short this name. We know we don't want to be short NVIDIA, so we wait for the long. The long comes in, and boom goes the dynamite. So for me, it's that's what it's about. And yeah, you know, it's pretty clear what's been happening to some of these names. They get a little choppy at sometimes. So you can get chopped up. So I waited for that level. Let's see what winds up happening. Who knows? We did empty out of our KSS a little bit there. We only now have about 15% left of KSS. That's pretty good. I mean, we went over there and got out at 21 once we saw the problems. We talked about that one. And then Chewy, I have like basically...
Going back to 28.
Yeah, I'm not super... I've already gotten out of this name. I was kind of just holding on to a flyer here. We'll wait for VWAP, but I'm not... The play's already done. I thought it was going to be a short flow play, and we already hit it. So Chewy's going to be another green name for us no matter what happens here. We're going to get out at 27.75 on the break lower. The market continues to flush, though, man. I mean, we're near the bottoms again. Look at this move. Here we go. Not only did we accidentally add to the short, but now it's a nice little winner. Let's see where we're going. Hopefully lower.
They just tried to buy SMCI again, and it's still making fresh lows. So, like, I taken 5 swings at it. I only got 1 position SMCI, but, you know, on a day like today, I really don't have a problem with it. Like, if there is, like, when a stock is doing this, I've traded SMCI 5 times. Ever. 5 times. I'm going to be 4 for 5. But this was the biggest opportunity of trading this stock today. So sometimes it's going to look like that, but if you're trading, these are the types of days where you got to take your swing at it. The SSR has been a bit of a trip as it continues to fly into the downside. There really aren't any levels that are holding. Obviously, 400 is going to be a big one when it gets there. Maybe a 425 retrace or 35 have both been good. Chewy is pulling back into VWAP. So, you know, the next trade had just bounced in off VWAP. Going to look for the reentry. I said if we get out here on the trend, the next place I look for a bounce was going to be off of VWAP. We'll see if I can catch a fill on top of VWAP and see if this one can continue to the upside. But you're absolutely bleeding in most of the market and in those chips. Well, in SMCI, still underneath VWAP is AMD. And that's the thing. This stock has been weak for multiple days now. It's now breaking out the bottom of the range here. 145 seems like it could be an interesting target to the downside. As long as these lows hold, though, got to try to go station to station. 148 has yet to break on advanced micro devices. So reload in Chewy. We'll see what happens at 425 on SMCI. I want to see a level. The thing is, I'd rather, instead of here where I took the breakdown, didn't get filled when it broke through 445, just kind of like, oh, just leave the order in and throw a stop and give it to that 50. Instead, I'd rather look for a level to hold like that and then get that on the way down. So if it makes another green candle, which would be the second green candle of the day, look for rejection off of that high as a possible entry for SMCI. Stock still falling. 400 would be crazy if we even saw it. And Mara, VWAP, looking for that to hold VWAP. It's starting to do so as well. So that's starting to set up the VWAP trade on Mara, as long as we're underneath 60,000.
We just got another fill there on the TQQs. If you guys, Apple hamburger on 200. Apple hamburgers. You could put pineapple in hamburgers, actually, the Hawaiian hamburger. I've heard of that before. I think
See, now that I don't mind.
yeah, I think that'd be pretty good for sure.
That I don't.
I'm pretty sure I've had that. Yeah, not all chip names are built the same, and not all traders are built the same. So we'll props up everybody that's long here on NVIDIA off of 126. I mean, we talked about that level. We talked about it coming in, and that's exactly what it did. Now we're $1 plus. I mean, whatever. We're $1 on the TQs, man. We're $1 on on NVIDIA right now. There's 126. It held all afternoon until it didn't. I mean, this is the level that we were trading off of yesterday. So that's why we wrote it down. There's 126. Comes right in, and now it's just $1.50. Well, we're not $1.50, we're $1.20 now in the money. And we're only 120 handles in the money on the NASDAQ to the short side, but we did just take a cover right there at that bottom. We are very, very light on this right now. We're going to get out of half if it breaks 68.20 of what we have left. We have less than 10% left now in this name. And again, it's been a big day, but thing is, for mad love for everybody, we got to give shout outs to the first place man in the back. Let's give props to Wayne right now. We'll see if we can grab him, but right now Wayne taking out first place. So congratulations to Wayne in the background as the traders keep on trading, and that's exactly what we're going to keep on doing when we get back. Was that a call?
Yes.
For Adara.
Worth noting here, we actually have this comment coming out from the BLS. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We know they had that delayed release for the revisions as of last week. They're now saying they're putting new safeguards in place to ensure equal data access after the delayed release last week, August 21st, regarding the, quote, mishap with that jobs data. So BLS apparently putting some safeguards in place. Just an update with regards to that release, which was delayed by 35 minutes last week, guys.
Yes, sir. So good look there, Adara. Couple of things. Try to follow your trade plan. I like if a stock is going to really break out, try to take multiple swings at it. The initial break was not what we're looking for. I mean, Chewy, we're looking at 28 on the daily chart, but if you look at the initial break, it was right in here at the quarters. It then held that on a dip. It's now starting to hold VWAP even after the trend break. If we cannot get back to that trend high, I'll look to jump out and just continuously play VWAP. SMCI is trying to set up for an entry here, but now you got a couple of green candles forming. So it just wicked the 421. I zoom in, there you go. It's going to be, you have to zoom in every single time. Like the scaling on this chart is going to be nuts when it has like a $130 range. But if it's going to bounce and not hold this 420 down, got to wait for 430 or 445. So I keep looking at that one very closely to see if there's an opportunity to get in. Remember, it's going to be SSR. It's going to be trend down. The bid's going to fall very, very quickly on it. So finding entry points, I want to have a stop in at a local high if I can set one up. And now the market's heading back in again. So just into AMD, no chance to get that one off another fail break of $421. Market seems like it wants to head lower. I did just enter Mara. So Mara, the thesis was as long as it's underneath $18 and Bitcoin is underneath 30,000, I want to look short. There was no play into previous high. There was no play into 18. It set a double top. So I'm just short off of VWAP in here. I got short, essentially, I mean, I got 29s to fill, but call it 30s. And if we break VWAP, call it breaking 35s, and we jump out of the trade. Now here comes Chewy. So Chewy looks like it wants to continue to go. So just follow along with the plan. Like to be able to see if it can break that high of the day. If it cannot and curls here, I get out, hunt VWAP again. Never want to look that gift horse in the mouth with a trade, especially when it's moved so far. This was at $26 and went up to 29. The longs weren't until 28. That's the reason for the target for only the $1 move, because it already moved $3. Lee Cannoli just said Pinduo Duo $90. Is there even a bottom on PDD at this point? Short answer, it seems like no. This is the continuation to end all continuation. Pinduo Duo, someone asked me where I thought this one was going, and I didn't have a terribly good answer for them yesterday. I mean, you could have said this $91 level. If that doesn't hold, where does it want to fall? 75 bucks? PDD is absolutely bleeding. I feel like there's going to be a chance to buy Alibaba at some point. But until that happens, you got to hunt elsewhere, man. Just let that one bleed. Let that one fall. One other thing to keep a look at. I want to try to focus on the four names, the three that I'm in SMCI. But Apple just regained yesterday's top. So while the market's at the lows, Apple holds a higher low and is trying to hold on to VWAP and yesterday's high. I did have a target dip buy that did not get triggered. So it looks like it made that bottom, didn't quite get low enough for me to get in, but I don't mind joining this trend. If it holds VWAP and holds on to this 229, that would be one to watch. So Chewy working to the upside, about 50 pennies on the reload. AMD continuing to crater, and another fresh low coming in here as SMCI is about to break 410. This does want $400, it seems. It was 360 was the monster level on the daily chart. Maybe it just wants that price. Bloodbath. So sometimes the short sellers have it right. I mean, I gave zero credit to Hindenburg yesterday. I'll be the first person to admit it, but that's because historically, I mean, you can look at those stocks that they do the short reports on a day or two after. Usually they bounce.
But it went up on Hindenburg report.
It did. It went up. It went from 500 to 550.
Lesson of the day or whatever.
I cannot believe this is the worst possible timing for them to have delayed their filing. What can you say? I feel bad for any shareholders in here. They're just collateral damage.
Yeah, I mean, there was enough indications to get out of that, but you are right. You are getting hit. I mean, that name was $1,200. We talk about pigs getting slaughtered, and it's tough to do because you always wait for that big move, you know. And and that's kind of what I feel like when we talk about NVIDIA earnings again coming through. Actually, we should have just got out of that one as it broke through.
Chewy's at the high of the day again.
127. Yeah, Chewy is great. All right, so 127.50. You know what? I'm going to hold on to NVIDIA. Let's just see if it goes. We only have, so right now we still have 20% left. So we're still in it, man. Props up that play to at least be in it. Ooh. The thing is that we got out of 40%. We have 3 fills there. Oh, yeah, because one was at 50s. Okay, so we got out of 60% in and around here. Some for 30 cents, some for 50 cents, some for 60 cents. Then we took that, what was roughly $1, just at 127. So then we take 85 cents. And now I'm leaving that last 20%. My stop was breaking below 126. I don't know if we'll take it again. We do have those futures short right now, which are working, not overly exciting. I mean, we could reload this at 68.40 underneath VWAP. We want to play momentum today. We've talked about that, man. Just be patient, wait for your plays to come in, and when they do, they do. And yeah, as Neil mentioned there, what a great, we always talk about making plays, and shout out to Brian Shannon as well. Making plays, I know Neil has it right there, off that VWAP. I mean, that was a great little area there. It's too bad. My stop was in and around there. Did not get triggered, thankfully, there, but we should have been reloaded. So it's a nice move back up there for Chewy. And
high.
We still have shares. So, I mean, we are super happy with that one. Just do not have a reload in it. KSS, again, I'd like to take a VWAP bounce, but I took too many shares here. Not too many, but I took a lot of shares that my punch out was only 10 cents. So we did not get punched out of this trade. We have the best price. It hasn't gone against us. So it's all good. But there goes Chewy right now. Chewy also, and I know it's already in there for both of us, so we might as well do it. It's $1 right now for Chewy as that continues to break through 29 right now. So a nice high side play there. And again, I mean, the reason why we talked about it and the reason why when Sharif was like, Chewy's going, we're just like, is it at 28? Yes, it is.
I can't believe it.
And we looked at that right there. It's only a 12% short float. KSS is a bigger one, but Chewy, we know Ryan Cohen, and we know some of that talk there as people can get behind this name. An easy business to understand and definitely one that's moved before. Look at Chewy. I said we could stop at 30. I wasn't sure about getting there today when we open at 26, but definitely cooking right there. And then KSS, I'm going to let this one go through 21. My next offer is 21.15.
Yeah, KSS flying as well. I mean, you had to look at the retail names today because on days where the market's dying, it's usually squeeze names that are going to be flying. So things with a short float, things that don't care about tech. So that's retail, and retail earnings. If you weren't looking at least one of them, I don't really know what Foot Locker is doing. I'll double check. In Abercrombie, I'm not even sure what that's doing. Either they were down. The ones that are up were the ones worth going into. So I'm out of AMD. It just broke the bottom, the low of the day here, and came right back up through 148. Obviously, I'm not going to be happy that I started out with a keystroke error on AMD. It's been a good short time and time again. I'm now trailing Chewy because it just failed. I hate using the word failed. Like what I usually mean to say is like it wicked the top at 29. So twice it's gotten at 29. This time it's wicked the top at 29. So I'm trailing it back underneath 28.75. Otherwise, we're just going to hold on for dear life. Don't know how far it can go. We haven't done the thing where we zoom out and give you guys levels because $30 is about as obvious as it gets. Sometimes you zoom out the chart, you had a 30 top in here, you had some support going all the way back to 2023 in May, whatever was going on there. It looks like it had earnings and bounced off of it. I mean, I have no idea. Doesn't really matter. But Chewy, I think there's room for it to get to 30. As far as where the reload would be, it's either VWAP or if it can set up like consolidating off this top, maybe you can do that and give a re-entry here with a stop under 28.75. So we'll keep the long in that. Mara, as long as Bitcoin is, actually Bitcoin's bouncing a little bit here. Yeah, so I reloaded off VWAP. You know what, I'm just gonna get IBIT on my black charts because for some reason I had UVXY, but we just got back into VWAP for a reload, and Bitcoin's getting close to 60,000 actually. So it's much closer than it was the last time we got to VWAP. BTC, I didn't really track how low the bottom was. I hate having to slide over. It was 59.2. But see how it's getting back up into the top here? There you go. Like if it breaks it back out, yeah, we're gonna try to get out of Mara here. Get some fills because 60,000 wants to come back in, or at least attempting to come back in on BTC. If you're gonna trade Mara or MSTR, or I know a lot of people are looking at MSTRX, that's the, it's the leveraged, because why wouldn't you have like MSTR leverage so that you can be like Bitcoin forever ETF? It's not even a true ETF, MSTR. They just own Bitcoin, and there is an MSTRX. I think it's like 2 times levered.
Yeah.
I find it funny
Maybe
because
more, who knows?
like you could literally just trade Bitcoin if you wanted to. You can trade any of the Bitcoin ETFs. There's so many things out there that you could be trading, but why not be in a levered, whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, Coles must have come back into the breakout at the 60 level. Let me get on over to that one. So I took some out there, 25 on Mara, because of what I saw in Bitcoin, but now Coles wants back in. So first trade here to here, lost, re-entry there to there, and then dip into here. So we're taking it station to station on Coles, but the first one was a hit. Let's see if we can hold on to that 2060 as it's trying to pull back in here. The market's flying though, so the market's going to the upside now. So the longs, they've been wrong most of the time, but they're starting to look really good with the NASDAQ pulling back in here. I'm back into Coles off of VWAP. Let's go to Adara for the small cap recap.
Also strong here is the IWM trying to go from red to green with higher highs and higher lows off that defined bottom. So nice look here for the Russell 2000. Quite a few small cap runners to talk about, including Branch Out Foods, BOF. This one reported here their revenue for the first half of 2024, 640% year-over-year revenue growth for BOF. Next up here, we have Virax Biolabs, VRAX. This one has been on watch since the World Health Organization declared Mpox a global health emergency. Today announcing that they have this distribution agreement to commercialize their Mpox testing kits in Europe and the Middle East. Worth noting as well, they have just over a 10% short float. Last but not least, ASST assets. We know this one's been moving on and off the last little bit as well. They have a float of just over 1 million shares. So small float, no catalyst for ASSTs. It tries to make new highs a day, guys.
Don't ask this.
Asset.
Oh, never mind. I'm mixing up ASST and ASTS. ASTS being the one that was going down. Yeah, at ASST. This is what happens when you're no-name stocks and the tickers are too similar. You never want to accidentally punch into the wrong stock. Ask anybody in that TLSA that was on the OTC
I did it today.
markets.
I got out of something and when I meant to get into something.
Hey, man, it happens.
Right there. But the other thing that also happens is something like this. We just reloaded the TQs down there. We'll take another little bit of profit here. And now I'm in scalp mode now a little bit. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. And we don't have any losing trades. We're going to go 3 for 3, including Chewy right now. That's $1 in the money. We have NVIDIA. That's $1 in the money. We have KSSS that we're light on, but again, multiples in the money right there as well. And then look what just happened to the TQ again right there. Let's go. We're doing it one more time. It's another chicken dinner winner. We just reloaded this at 68.20, man. We just took a fill at 68 flat. Let's put something down a little bit lower. Let's take another bid at 04. Why not? There it is. So we'll take some more profit out. We said we're in scalp mode right there, and that is what it is, man. It's 10:22. Like, we're just getting started right now, and it has been one more time a pretty good day if you've been following your rules and you've been looking at the right names. I mean, any name is the right name as long as you have a plan on it. There's absolutely nothing else. And I want to say thank you so much to Hal R in the chat, who also says thank you to me here as well. He said, he asked me about the TQs, and he said that, hey, Sean, on your sticky note, I want to thank some of you for your direct messages as well today. On your sticky note right here, you said we liked 67. 67, I think, was it 69 or 67 yesterday? We were looking for 67 to break lower on the TQs. We're not even anywhere near there. Remember, when we write the sticky note, it's like 8 o'clock. But that should show you that the move down in, we're looking short. Now, the thing about the TQs is, as soon as we got and this is what distinguishes traders from each other. I had to feel, and sometimes it feels wrong, but we thought that the market was going to go to the downside a little bit. We had SMCI worries. We had NVIDIA earnings, right? People going to probably take profit on NVIDIA. It started to tick down. We only name that was really rocketing to the upside was Tesla early. So we did talk about a little bit of that. And then there is that level from yesterday afternoon that we were all over. Like, we were all over this short yesterday, all afternoon. And we really like that 69.20 level. So when I saw us up here in and around 69, I was like, hey, man, if I still have an offer to get more short. It's too bad that we didn't get it. But when that came in, I was like, this is worth the risk. This is 20 cents of risk to make 100 handles. So we probably it's probably 10 handles worth of risk. Or let's just talk about cents-wise. We're short here at 69. Our out, it's still in 69.25s to get out if we break that high. That take rate there, and it doesn't matter. This is a big one. That's $1.30 for 25 cents of risk. So, I mean, it panned out quite well for us. And now we just scalp some out. If this breaks 68.30s, we're out right now. 68.30, we're going to get out to 75% of this trade and then just regroup. There it is. So there it is. We are now out. So we get the reload. The reload, not really that profitable, but we did get some fills down there at 68. So that was a good one. Now let's just wait, man. NVIDIA, $1.50. Chewy $1.70 in the money, NVIDIA $1.30 in the money, and Cole's trying to work itself out. So that Chewy trade, man, this is a monster.
Yeah, I'm now out of, so we just tagged 29.80 on Chewy. It got back into the top of the channel. Look, at the end of the day, we were just like 2 seconds ago. Once I say 2 seconds, I mean like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, showing you guys this double barrel at 30. So that was the target. I'm not going short, but if I was flat, and I was looking for a mean reversion trade, this is the spot that I'd be putting it in. So we got the reload. And again, like, you know, it actually failed the first reload on the trend line. So it failed that one. We waited for it to get back into the 28 level in VWAP. It did. Now you're up at the top. I got it quickly as we ring the register there. That was a good one. But as Sean said, like sometimes, like if you looked at my note this morning, you would have heard me say, or anybody that's watched me trade Mara, I'm almost always exclusively keying in on obvious levels on Mara, like 18, like 1780 in here. Those weren't available for a short trade. You couldn't short price. You can't short prices that it doesn't go to. That's just, I mean, it's obviously true. But you have to say it. So when it made this double top and I wasn't in it, all it was available was VWAP for a setup. Trade a setup. It goes VWAP to the low of the day. I did accidentally go long and it would have worked, but I got out flat when I accidentally reversed long. I decided to take it out here. But then my bid at the low of the day was then at that point for too many shares because I had taken it out that wasn't originally in the plan at 25. So I'm out of Mara looking for a VWAP or trace. We're still in Coles off that 2060 reload, but we've taken profit and gotten out altogether on Chewy. Let's go on over to Adara at the desk.
Serve Robotics on watch here, SERV, getting a little bit of a volume spike. They did announce yesterday evening that they're priced this private warrant placement and warrant exercise for the gross proceeds of $20 million. But this move here earlier with that volume spike seems to have happened because we had some traders circulating this earlier report that Serve Robotics is partnering with Shake Shack for robot deliveries. This was actually initially announced 2 weeks ago on August 14th. So circulation of this old news report with a Shake Shack collaboration sending SERV up about 7%, 10% short for these ones, guys.
868.
You've been served.
Yeah, I'm thinking about where to get more long here. Short on the NASDAQ. All right, so we got out of Chewy there. I don't know. I mean, we just talked about it. We already said earlier that 30 was going to be a problem. We took 75s. right there as it came up. We might have actually had a better price than that. Hold on a second. We kind of punched it. Yeah, 71s. Okay, so it held up there at 75. Once it didn't break it, we punched out. We got 71s. I thought I got a little bit better, but we'll take 71s out right there on Chewy as that falls back in a little bit. U.S. crude inventories out right now. We are at VWAP here on the NASDAQ.
Already?
I will take a little bit. We are very light, man. We have like 5% of our trade left. We stopped out of half of what we had. So I'm always talking about what we had up here. This was a keystroke. Like we shouldn't, my price is going to look stupid because of this, but we didn't mean to make that, and it's not affecting my net really. We're going to put it basically more shares on right now. I was looking at the 200 period. That's a level that I always look at as meaning something. So if it can retrace back up to the 200 period moving average, that's 68.70, then that's a much bigger comfort level for me to put on more shares. I know you guys are looking for those bigger trades. It's only 10:30 right now. You might get a little bit of slowdown in the market heading into lunch, but that doesn't mean anything. SMCI is moving around. You could get these notes dropped at any time. You got big earnings coming tonight. You got crowd. You got a whole bunch of them. Like there it is, 68.40, nice little move down, 15 cents. If you're in scalp mode, take it right now. If not, hold out. Just a little bit of a warning sign here for NVIDIA traders. So we're $1 in the money off of the posted 126 play. Now, I want to hold to see if this has any chance. We're in 20%. I'm willing to lose all of this 20% that we have back into this level. So you guys are going to have to decide if you are as well. I'm doing that. I can clearly see that we're stalling out here at VWAP. That's obvious. We could get out here and then punch long there. It's just that's when I start to get all flustered. I've already got this long. I'm not going to put, the shares I would put on would be too many probably. And then I'd be like, oh man, I just lost everything right there on a 50-cent back and forth that I made on $1 move higher. So I'm not going to do that. There goes NVIDIA. Let's just see if it continues to work. Seems like it is, man. KSS working out, Chewy trying to work out, and NVIDIA, we just talked about it, definitely working out. So today, yeah, the two biggest stocks, NVIDIA, KSS, Chewy, and TQs, all names that Neil and I have been talking about for a minute. So good names here. Yes, I did review Millionaire, I guess, get that bottom wick. But it's not even like I got the bottom wick. It's just I sat and just put out the sticky note level of 126. We got with 126.15. And even if as it was coming in, Rivian Millionaire, I said, I'm going to wait closer to 126 for this because we wanted to be right on that play. And we just thought there was a little bit of risk involved. But that is pretty close, man. The low of the day on NVIDIA is pretty much where we're at right now. It looks like maybe 08s might have been the low. So we did pretty good to get that. But that's, you don't get that often. Sometimes they get stop outs the other way.
Apple high a day.
Apple high, yeah, Apple high a day. Okay, I mean, that was another name that we really liked to take through. That's still 230. Okay, so this name, again, thought it would be choppy. We saw some chop there, and I think we were 100% right early. Choppy, 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 heads down to the 200 period. Really like 200 periods. We already talked about that. We talked about that with NVIDIA. So nice move there, 200 period. No, it was the NASDAQ. 200 period right there, hold for Apple. I'm not in it, but great little look there, trying to get more TQQs as well. Adair at the desk.
We did get some of these EIA draw numbers here. So crude oil inventories drawing here 846,000 barrels versus the estimate of 2.7 million barrels. Worth noting there in terms of those crude oil numbers. In terms of Bitcoin, still below the 60,000 level. That we're recovering from that area just above 58,000, that we did hit here. We actually have some crypto analysts and traders, including this CryptoCon trader, noting that the Bollinger Bands on the weekly on Bitcoin, kind of similar to that move down we did in October of 2023 before the large rally up. So some crypto analysts and traders saying this actually still could be a bullish move in Bitcoin, despite that move down we had. The move up initially that we had on Friday attributed to the move we had in the rest of the market when Fed Chair Powell made some more dovish than expected comments during his Jackson Hole address. Bitcoin still down about 4% here if you look at these numbers, different times of day being calculated depending on what you look at. But right now here, down about 4%. Holding on to that 59.5 area as of right now. Ethereum recovering pretty nicely. This was down about 10% earlier in the morning, now down about 3% and nicely above the 2,500 level. Rest of these other crypto-related names generally to the downside with the exception of Toncoin. We have Dogecoin Ripple, Solana, BNB, all sharply to the downside, with Solana actually down about 6%, guys.
Ugh.
I can't believe we got like a 199 or 190 something fill.
Some bleeding
on
going on.
So lucky. I didn't even.
ETH has been taking it on the chin a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
25
sure.
and change.
Yeah. Not looking good. Apple is breaking the high of the day, so we wanted this back at VWAP, but when we wanted it at VWAP, it had already bounced at VWAP. Now you're starting to see it really go until it does some kind of a consolidation. This is obviously one to join. It didn't really get down into the target area that we're talking about. It got close, but I want to say no cigar. I liked it in the quarters into 227 even, like this range in here, off an opening range. So I guess we got to look for VWAP or a pullback in a prior high. That'll be 229 and a half. Kohl's is still looking okay. Chewy. Okay, so if Chewy is not done, and I don't know if it's going to go higher. It just wicked the 30 level. It looks like it's pulling back a little bit. The previous breakout, like the last breakout, was at 29, so I'd look there or VWAP on any kind of a dip in Chewy. If it's just going to continue to trend to the upside, you got to take the stairs to said upside. So we'll see what happens that. But I'm not looking to short Apple. If I short something, I want to go back over to, I mean, SMCI is not even anywhere close to VWAP. You can pretty much stick a fork in that. AMD, I still like. That one tried to get to VWAP. I was in before it got to VWAP. I don't like doing that. So let's let it get back in here to where the resistance was before. So I'm short, but I'm not short yet. I got in and out for about 15 cents. And now I'm going to wait more patiently for this 49 to get tested at VWAP. I'm just going to get my orders set up for that. If you're looking at SMCI, I can't seem to get, the VWAP is $440. Got to be patient with that one.
We are right now looking short again in the market. There it is. There it is. Oh my. We just reloaded that short at 68.40. There it comes down into the TQQ 68.20. We take that fill. Here it comes in. Let's go bleed to the downside. What exactly kind of a day are we having right now? Again, we just shorted the NASDAQ one more time, and there it comes right back in for us. Wow, that is exciting stuff. We also get out of some KSS right there on the upside as well. And yeah, man, big moves happening right now in the market, man. We're coming back to get that trophy. KSS, huge move. Let's see what happens. Here comes the NASDAQ, a nice push down. Now 40 cents in the money on the NASDAQ. We'll wait. I mean, if it bleeds, it bleeds. We talked about getting more up here. Wish we, would have taken it earlier, but that's all good. Thing is, if you guys are Canadian residents and are excited to trade, why not join Real Trading Campus, gain real experience and trade real money? This is definitely a program for you. Even if you're experienced or not, get involved, man. I mean, you're going to join an exclusive community of like-minded individuals. Compete and complete while you're still in school. The requirement is relatively light. 8 hours of trading a week, 16 hours a week in total of trading, trade review, and coaching. So, we spend 16 hours scrolling Instagram. Get on your goals. Get started right now with Real Trading, man. You want to become a trader? Join us. You trade our platform. There is a curated list to pick from. There is definitely this roadmap. You get to read books, then you get to see some of these pulleys and whatnot on a board, and then you get to see money going up like that. Most of the time, money will be going down though. And then you have money bags at the end. No matter what, you will gain experience in this program and be able to figure out if trading is for you. Get a leg up today with Real Trading Campus Edition. So sign up now for that, and then maybe you'll one day be able to trade TQQs, trade the SPY, trade oil. Thank you very much. Oh, that's a nice little applause there. And we want to applaud everybody that's able to get into that program. It does fill up real quick. So if you are a Canadian resident,
gotta get in.
Make sure you do that. You'll be here with Brankles and Wayne and all of us. But don't bother me. No, just joking. You can come over anytime you want. Shout out to BPI. That's over here. Not here today, but another one of the favorites around here as well. So there it is.
Day to miss. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's a fantastic. It's free. Trading to learn for a lot of people is expensive. Almost everybody starts out in the red. And why not do it the right way? If you're going to put the time and effort in, you might as well do it right. So we didn't get to VWAP on the market. Just pulled back. We didn't get to VWAP on Apple. It just came in, tried to bounce off of this high. I mean, this was like a lower high back here. Tried to bounce off of 229.35 or so. did a little bit of a wick shimmy, so now we're just going to wait for VWAP. I still only want to be long on dips. I mean, this, retail, like that's going to be about it. We reloaded underneath on the bottom on Mara, but we haven't gotten AMD yet. AMD just did this huge wick back up, double tapping 148.80. So it doesn't get to 149 where we're shorting off the last time, but it double taps 148.80 or so. I want to get a stop in just above there. Look to fade this one. It might actually be at VWAP this time. Instead of in front of it, like that entry might actually just be at VWAP. Sometimes the line on the chart matters. It's been holding VWAP the entire way. And if it breaks it, great. We know exactly where we want to get out, which is a prerequisite for any trade. I don't want to ignore SMCI. I'm not really seeing the same kind of, like early in the morning that was the time to try to get this one for like $15, $20, $30 moves. It's not moving. It's just not moving like that anymore. So it's much more calm the way that this one is moving to the downside. So I think you got to watch out for this. It's been very, very calm. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by stonks.com. Want a chance to win $10,000 today? Stonks is giving out money daily, and entering is super easy. Predict the stock price after the earnings report. Today, we're looking at NVIDIA. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to stonks.com, sign up, and hit the Make Prediction button and potentially win $10,000. It's that simple. Each day, you get one free ticket to predict. Want more chances? Share your referral link and get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com. Don't miss out, and good luck. In terms of the market here today, definitely a couple red sectors to talk about here as we have a slight downturn in both the major indices today. Energy minerals pretty red across the board here. We just got those EIA draw numbers. Consumer services also pretty red here with Disney and Starbucks both notably to the downside. Retail trade a little bit more mixed. Consumer non-durables a bit more mixed. And we do have some positivity here in health technology, finance, health services, and distribution services, all notably strong. Also some weakness here in industrial and non-energy. Schlumberger, SLB notably to the downside. Of course, though, we have to talk about these tech sectors. Electronic technology a little bit more red here. We have Micron strongly to the downside. Apple up, but the rest of these names a little bit more red as we wait for NVIDIA earnings tonight. But earnings also on watching the technology services sector. CrowdStrike and CRM both reporting after the close along with NVIDIA. Both these names down a little bit today in a sector that's also a little bit more mixed to weak, guys.
Like we just put on 40 more handles in our pocket right there on the TQQs. Like there's the reload here, there's the out, there's the crash again. Like this is unreal, Sharif, to be honest with you here today. Like some of the names that have just been working out so well. This KSS, again, a break, right? I mean, guys, go over. We're a couple followers away. 47.4 right now. We have 7 more into 47.5. Thank you so much for everybody and all the love that comes through on Twitter every single day. I mean, it means a lot to all of us here. There's KSS long 2065. If you only have that trade, you're good to go. You know, you're better than 95% of the traders if you have this trade today. Right there, NVIDIA, you have this trade today, same way. And the reason why I'm talking about this is that you got to have a plan. Sometimes these don't hold and you're gone. Sometimes they do hold. This is why you put in that experience, you get that work done and you figure it out. Walmart, we're not in, it didn't break. We don't have to worry about that. We talked about that 76 support level. We can go back and look at it. And Tesla got a couple dollars away from this. I think it got to 212, 211.75, something like that, a little bit away from that. We could have got short, but we waited a little bit higher than TQQs. Come on, man. We wanted to fade that name, and we did exactly that. And that's been really the banger today. We had a big one yesterday by far. We made about double yesterday on the Tesla short. And yesterday's Tesla short was crazy. Crazy short off the open. We had this level. And we just kind of thought this could happen again. We went from 211 up to 215 and then faded. We yesterday wrote this level down, 216 short. So we actually had that play back in. Today we missed this by a couple dollars. We went back into the same range again, did not get going up to 214. So unfortunately we missed that trade, but it does work out for us today on the broader market. We are ending the day at our highest spot. And again, of course we are. There's the TQs right back into day's low one more time. So they're cracking lower and lower and lower. And here comes NVIDIA. We told you, man, this is time to dance with the devil. And this is our last run.
Break could be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So 126 break. I'm going to get out on a 126 break. We just put on a little bit of a reload right there. So let's see what happens now. If we can get 25 cents on this reload, man, today we're cooking. And here, if we can, we almost got it right now on a 1-to-1 trade off of 126. So what's your opinion there? Are you going to take that short or?
I'm looking over it to see if I like something better. AMD's at the low of the day as well, and I've been trading AMD short, not NVIDIA. So usually that's what you want to do, but then breaks are better on NVIDIA versus AMD. One thing for sure that's happening is I have a trail out on KSS. This is what Chewy did, at least initially. Like, it's double topping. It's at a resistance level, $21. $21. Okay, what's up with that daily chart? Here, let me just pull it up on my trade ideas so you guys can see, because I put a trail on KSS and I want to make sure like it actually makes sense to everybody. There you go. There's the daily chart on Kohl's. I'm not just making it up. Like, it's trying to break the 50 period on the daily, and it's running into resistance at the 50 period on the daily. That's what I was trying to show on that daily chart, which is missing some data. So obviously that's not going to be correct. I knew that immediately. So trail is in. It can't seem to break the 50 on the daily, trailing into 2090. We got a reload on MAR. That's headed lower. But as NVIDIA is going, look, so I know I've been trading AMD to the south side, but NVIDIA tends to have better breakouts and breakdowns. So, whoa. What the heck? I didn't even have a stop order when it happened. That's wild. As I was talking, this one just might have done like a false break of 126. I just punched in manually. Stop is going to 126.25 on this one. So, yeah, that was wild. Like, it was at 30s, and I was about to discuss putting a stop order, and the reason that I liked NVIDIA breaking instead of AMD to the downside, and it went from 30s right into 126 in one shot. There was about, I don't know, it looked like 400,000 or 500,000 shares on the bid. I couldn't tell because it got there and filled everybody as fast as it could. I was able to immediately punch short at 88, but like any breakout or breakdown trade, I want it working right away or not. I immediately bid 1-to-1 if my stop is going to be at the quarters. So that one happened first. I don't even know what happened to AMD because I covered that chart up there. Oh, no way, oosh. Starbucks.
Huge move. Here we go.
I forgot to mention. Remember Starbucks 96? Apparently it's back there at 96, and I was on the bid. Why in the heck was I on the bid of Starbucks after that entire move? That's sloppy. So obviously NVIDIA's headed to the downside. My stop is, and I just took some profit in there, but I was bidding 96 on Starbucks from the pre-market, and that doesn't even make any sense after this move. I didn't have a stop to cover myself, so I'm just going to throw a stop in there. If it breaks 96, I'm getting out. That was more of where it was looking at the pre-market. If it did it at the open, I really like the 96 level, but that's not what I was anticipating there. So quick little stop. Again, it wasn't a lot of size. It was like pre-market share size there, so thankfully. But NVIDIA, look at this chart. Oh, that wicks back. There you go. So NVIDIA breaks 26, goes down into the $0.50, tries to make a bit of a bounce. I'm leaving the stop at the quarters. We picked that over AMD. Yeah, the AMD break was better. AMD breaking its low of the day was better than 126 on NVIDIA. AMD went 80 cents. NVIDIA even dollar break went 35 cents. Oh, well, I guess could have been wrong about that one, but NVIDIA is still working to the downside. The buyers are there at the $0.50 at least for now. Let's see how far it can go. Mara, I got a bid in front of 17 even on Mara. As long as Bitcoin wants to trend down, we want to see if we can stick with that to the downside. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. We just reloaded this, man. We just put another 100 handles in our pocket on the NASDAQ. I mean, honestly, this has been quite the day. I just said to Branko's another one right there. We're 4 for 4 today. So shout out to Branko, shout out to everybody behind us, also putting up some numbers. Shout out to Big Obi, man. Obi comes right back into it. So we'll go props to Obi right now. It doesn't matter the place, but great trade there for Obi coming back in again on the NVIDIA short as well. The craziest part is, man, we got that 50 fill. So we actually got some out at 50 before having it break. So we go 1-to-1 on there. NVIDIA, a positive name for us, but we'll give a little bit back because we only got out of a quarter there. So we'll give a little bit back there on NVIDIA. But honestly, we're at the highest spot today. And I keep saying that, and it's the truth. Like, we go 1-to-1 there on NVIDIA, and then we just put on the Qs. Like, we just re-shorted this name. Like, this stink face at this market today. Like 4 for 4, all pretty monsters too. Like KSS right here, back into these highs one more time, 21 bucks. Like that's a monster trade. You know, like we put on shares that we only put a 10-cent stop because we had so many shares. So we weren't even going to wait for this to break back down below 50. So that stop is still in there if that fills out as well. Chewy, come on, man. We got out at 29.71 there. Huge move up there for Chewy. What a great stock that was there today. But really, what's making, you know, me dance here today? The TQQs. And we just nailed that. This was a mistake, actually, which wound up working. And then all of these shorts right back in again. And this is why we say this. You have to understand your plan. You have to understand what you're trading. And right there, we know we're VWAP trader. Adair asked me, and I think Adair should go back to this, man. Just use one indicator. Just use VWAP. Don't confuse yourself. We talk about aggressive journaling and things like that. I have to actually ask Adair what that means. But right back into there. Means journaling with veracity. So still.
Veracity?
So still really makes no sense.
All caps.
But right there, VWAP coming. All caps, right. So coming in again there. And again, this is just real trading. I mean, look at this move again right there. We're going straight to the downside one more time on this market, man. I mean, this is just, honestly, Randy, this has just been just one of them days again, my guy, over there. We're putting up digits here, Randy, putting up digits. The TQs are at that 67 level that we had marked down. I mean, this is really, really getting exciting now to the downside. I mean, NVIDIA is falling, but I mean, it's amazing how fast this name keeps falling. And I actually went to Randy's desk earlier, Neil, and I was like, yo, dude, check out SMCI on that. So there it goes, man. Huge move to the downside. Adair at the desk.
There? January 22nd.
The downtrend for the DXY continues. We are up on the day, forming a decent base here at 100.5, but we've wicked as high here as 101.15 and rejected that previous bottom. So definitely a bit of a downtrend here. We've not been at these levels since for quite some time here. We're talking July of last year, so it's been quite a long time since we've been at these lows for the US dollar. Though again, we have wicked higher than our lowest point of the day. No economic data to talk about today, though we will be getting some interesting prints later in the week. Tomorrow we'll be getting the GDP price index and some quarterly GDP estimate at 8:30 a.m. Then Friday we'll be getting the Fed's preferred inflation gauge here, the PCE price index at 8:30 a.m. So lots of data later in the week, though it's a bit more of a subdued day today. Fed's Bostic speaking at 6 p.m., guys.
Fed's Bostic later on today, but a heck of a lot more to get to. Was just we're talking about SMCI. I mean, like, I don't know why you're asking me about GameStop. Oh yeah, because GameStop reports next week. But SMCI is at prices that you haven't seen since the end of January. January 22nd was the last time it traded down here. It's on its way down to 400. There's nothing you can say. And this is like in the middle of the morning. This one came out that they were delaying their report, and it just started flushing. I took the first up hop to try and get it short because I was missing every single punch into the downside. But if you've been chasing that one, it has been working. It just wicked the bottom and is bouncing, by the way. So it made a fresh low and is actually trying to bounce in it. So NVIDIA breaks 126, goes to 125 half. But AMD, and you heard me saying why I was taking NVIDIA instead of, every time you say AMD or some names, like Sharif has like an ism for it, he's like, AMD, that's his thing. No, AMD actually fell more on its break of the low. It wasn't an even dollar level than NVIDIA did. So NVIDIA did get down to the half. This is it. Why is that still AMD? NVIDIA did get down to the half. It just got rid of this wick, and now it's right back. And bouncing a second time. I think you'll hold for a 125 trade. Oh yeah, Mara, that was the other thing. Bitcoin is still, actually Bitcoin's at 59 now. So Bitcoin's at 59. It came into VWAP. All right, I'm going to log out and back in the middle of the day. It came back into VWAP. Now it's breaking the 17. I had an offer at a bid at 17 to grab some out. Not many levels to look at on Mara until you get to this low right in here. It's like $16.80. So that'd be the target here, $16.80. We bounce off 59,000 on Bitcoin, I probably jump out of that trade as well. So there was no short up here. My plan was a short if it was underneath 18 and Bitcoin was under 60,000, but then the trend lent us to VWAP. That's all I was looking at was it made a high that was nowhere near where I wanted to short. Is VWAP available? Answer yes, take trade. So that's what we ended up doing. I'm going to go back over to Chewy. We only have 10 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go until we send you guys over to the midday, learn to trade. So Chewy is still holding on to a general trend. VWAP is held pretty nicely. We'd like to see if it can hold. Now I want to put obviously VWAP's in there, but I want to join these together and see if it just holds this, because that'd be 29, which is bouncing off of. So Chewy still trending into the upside. It tagged that 30 that we pointed out on the daily chart. Was obvious resistance. If you couldn't spot the 30 resistance on the daily chart, I mean, anybody could have. There's no rocket science there. That's why you both took profits at 30. Let's see if this one wants to continue upside. The only things that are strong in this market seem like Apple and retail squeeze names. Everything else seems like a short right now. If it's something strong, let me know.
All right. The only thing that's strong is the force with this one here today, and the market has been definitely one of those. I don't know. I mean, this was, talk about a VWAP trade back in the market. You know, we're back at 67. This was a level for us to look at here today. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to get to it right now. I have to go find it. What's for lunch? It comes as a just a big email at the beginning of the week, actually later in the week. So I have to go find it here. Oh yeah, espresso machine closed. I remember that one from last week. No, it's not closed now. It's not closed now. I was just looking for the food coming through, so I'll get that for you guys. Oh, you know what? I put it back into my inbox. All right, we'll find out what's for lunch in a couple minutes. All right, so just right now, KSS, you just talked about some retail strength, so we'll get that in a minute. I like this name here today. I mean, obviously we put it down on the watch list, but you could, or on the sticky note, you could see right here, it has come back in just a little bit into 21. So that's, there's the dip back into 75. Our stop is right here at 65, or break below 55. We gave it 10 cents. I just want to note that 21, we're still in the name. We could get out of it a couple times more. I'm waiting for a break of 21. There's Ramin standing on the desk, so that's really nice. All right, we got it right now. What's for lunch? All right, on the 28th. Yesterday we had a lunch for lunch, and today we're getting it again. Today we have grilled Italian sausage with peppers and mixed mushrooms, along with a vegetarian paella. So that's really nice. And it looks like there's on the side with a Caesar salad with some romaine lettuce, croutons, Parmesan, creamy dressing, and then some extra balsamic vinaigrette for some sort of a reason. So that's what's happening right there. That's what's for lunch. And that's a wrap, Italian sausage. So, all right, good little.
George likes the paella, that's for sure.
Yeah, George loves the paella. I love the paella as well. And Seinfeld, everybody loves that. 21 Savage. I don't know why we said that, Airy Pages, but shout out to you.
Because 21 on KSS.
KSS, yes. Can you do something for me? Yada, yada. All right. So right there, NVIDIA making that move back up, debating taking the long on this 126 break, 126.16 or so break long here on NVIDIA.
My trail's at 20s on NVIDIA. There's still some sellers at the 126, but it did bounce without getting to 125. So my trail is back in here. Again, it's just like its prior support turning into resistance. So that's where we're going to trail out. Mara's trying to get back to the upside as Bitcoin bounced off 59,000. I'll wait for VWAP on that. And there was one more thing I wanted to look at. It was Chewy. I don't think it's necessarily done. It's bouncing off 29. My trend line just disappeared because I didn't hit save. But if you draw that trend, it's holding that 29. If it either bounces here, and we did try a higher low and got out and then waited for VWAP, I think I'll stick to that same plan. Try to play the higher low off 29 in this consolidation. If it loses 29, wait for VWAP. VWAP was at 28.40. So between that is 2% on Chewy. So I think it's 2 separate trades or 1. And I'm going to go for 2, but I'd like to see it bounce a second time, confirm that support. If it never does, then we wait for 28.40 here on VWAP. Bless you, Ramin or Fabian, whomever was sneezing there. So the market's still making fresh lows. Let's double check on SMCI. Because if SMCI does something parabolic to the upside, I think you want to be careful with any chip names. And it's still green. This is now 4 or 5 green candles in a row after basing out that low. If it gets through 25, you could see VWAP on SMCI.
All right, 3 minutes left. Again, thank everybody for coming through again here today. You know what name we didn't actually look at was MSOS. MSOS yesterday. I'm not sure why we
moked.
Not sure why we completely ignored it. It was down 14% yesterday with DEA delaying the scheduling. So we'll see now where this goes. But MSOS today trying to battle back a little bit. We saw Tilray didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Again there. Apple, we can watch out for Apple here. There's that move back in. I mean, you want to talk about a 230. Wow, right back in for AAPL. I mean, everything is groovy on this side of things. Why? Because we just took another 100 handles, Neil, on the futures. So, I mean, this is just continuing to be one of those things where we shorted early, we shorted again. The big dog here today, TQQ. So that's been a big trade. NVIDIA was a really good trade as well for us early taking. And I said it when it was up here. I was like, watch out now. That's been the top. So good little break there of 126. KSS has been good. And then Chewy, I mean, come on, baby. Chewy was a fantastic trade as well. We are, believe it or not, ending at the highest level. And I know I always say that, but it's true. Ending at the highest level. I am going to break through 67. If 67 goes the downside, we will try a short again. This was a level that we liked. This was a sticky note level as we go. Oh, you know why? It's because KSS, baby. That's why. KSS, I'm like, why is my net doing this? KSS, a nice move here to the upside. Maybe we'll punch them out at 10s, but there goes KSS, a nice runner, man. Props up to that one. It is Sticky Note Nation. You guys are on that name. There it is right there. It's KSS, and it's as it was written. I mean, we always shout out hip-hop artists here. Someone caught that 21 Savage reference back there as well. And yeah, KSS did something for us today, man. Right there, 2065 long break. Checks notes, long, 2066 in the money now, 41 cents on good shares. So again, a 10-cent worth of risk there to go 4-1 on that. The next trade coming through is going to be is going to be your TQQ break. So here we go. A nice little break to the downside. We're watching out for this level, looking for some high side levels now to get stopped out on. But there it goes. It's going into the gates of hell again. We're putting it on one more time for you. Midday show, just wait for a couple seconds. We have a nice downside push here in the futures as we continue to go lower, 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 lower. Let's go, man. It's a props up kind of thing. We've been bearish all day, and we're just racking it right now. Nice trading there today for that good hold there on NVIDIA, but it's the TQQs, man. We put on damage. Hey, if you put on share sizes, you get excited, man, and it's a nice downside move here. We talked about 67 break. We've got it right now. It's pushing. Let's take some out. Let's see what winds up happening. The Nasdaq's only down 1%. It's been a doozy of a day.
Yeah, 125, by the way, broke and came right back on NVIDIA. That was an easy trail for me. 126 break was relatively clean, but the second it failed the 125 at this time of day with the support that it had underneath here the last couple of days, I was expecting inside day for NVIDIA. Well, this is the double bottom. 124.5, so if it checks up at 125, just getting one trade on NVIDIA for me today, and it goes clean through the 126, but it is 11 o'clock. We got to get over to some oscilators, I believe. We've got Sharif. We've got Adara. We'll be back at 2.
Good day.
And
let's go.
Remember we said, stay focused. NVIDIA will be exciting at the close, but that's the close. You still have half a day to go. Let's get it going.